Nick set it all up for me. Oh, this is live. We're live.
I just clicked it on because
Oh.
you're starting to tell another story, Britt. So
I know.
let's share it with the world since we're here. Like,
you'll soon see when people start joining your feed. You'll see the chat. I can't see the chat, but you will.
Okay. Am I going to see it in Streamyard, or am I got to see it in YouTube?
You'll see them anyway because you're in YouTube still, but via Streamyard. So you should see people starting to come in. Your subscribers will see that you've suddenly gone live.
Okay.
Now,
I'm in the Streamyard page right now. Do I need to look at YouTube? Do I need to watch my YouTube page?
I think so, because it will show that you've gone live. It should show it. It should send out notifications to everybody.
I don't see nothing yet from my phone. Oh, I marked it as unlisted. Hang on. I think we got to go public. I remember because I knew we were going to sneak in here privately. So hang on. Let me gotta figure this stuff out. Okay, broadcast, camera, audio is good. Yes. Okay, that's the settings. So we went live. Let me hit edit. Live with Nomadic, Brit, and after. Can we have tea? Because I have some great organic tea. I'm gonna have some.
I've got diet sweet tea in the cooler.
Okay, so we're gonna call it Live with Nomadic, Brit, and TeaTime. Yeah. And I'm just gonna say hang out, because I'm not trying to like say anything important except for just I'm feeling so silly and funny today. Okay. Like I'm so feeling like a young kid right now. Like this place is like the best place I've ever stopped at, and so I just went out and had fun like a little kid. I even went on the swings. Okay. So what?
Don't forget everything you've just said is going to be recorded. It's going to be out there. So
that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm transparent. Sometimes I'm too transparent with my.
It's just come up on my phone that you've gone live. So anybody, any of your subscribers will know. They would have got that same notification just now. So we either wait for a few minutes for people to start jumping in. I need to get myself a cup and stuff and a drink.
Let's get our drinks. Let's get our drinks and get all set up. And while we wait for people to come in here.
Yeah. See who comes in now.
This is so funny and silly and fun. Like I don't.
Yeah, you gotta watch with this. Oh, where did I do my cups? Okay, hold on. Yeah, you gotta watch in P's and Q's now because now everybody's watching you.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna be myself because apparently, like the other day, I was myself and I got like more views than I've ever gotten in my life. So that was that somebody found entertainment in that. Hi, Aaron, and hi, Mark the mailman. We're testing Streamyard. This is my first time trying this Streamyard thing, guys. And so I have a special guest in here who's been gracious enough to try to help me play with it, and that is Nomadic Brit. He's getting his tea right now. And hey, Wheel Burner. Cheerio, lady. Yeah,
the Canadians are here.
Okay, so I set up the account so this is my first time playing with this stuff, and so apparently the account I bought the cheap price one, and I can have up to like 6 people on the panel.
That's about enough because then you start losing. Once you get too many people in there, the whole voice gets lost because everybody wants to say something and not everybody can, because then you got to start shouting over. So 6 is about enough.
Yeah, like on Wheel Burner's show the other day, like I was so tired, and you guys all got in there and got bananas, and it was so much fun. Because normally I'm like, that's what I love is when everybody gets freaking fired up. But I was so exhausted, like I was just like, I had to blank out because I still had to cook a steak and I was so tired. I just wanted to go to sleep, but I was so hungry. And so oh
I
my gosh,
watched.
so much.
I watched. He went on for nearly 6 hours last night. I mean, I jumped out because I wanted like a 4 o'clock start this morning. So I jumped out about 10, and then I watched the rest of it this morning. So.
Oh, look at that. Look what I just did. Grade 8 transportation. I'm here, but I'm at home. First time since August 4th. I'll catch you on replay. Okay, thanks, grade 8. Thank you. And RN says he's not a Canadian. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let me try this out. Bear with me, guys. Okay, can you see
RN?
this?
I can see RN.
Look there's Wheelburner. And here's Mark the mailman. Okay, I got this now. At least this. Okay.
It is simple.
It is, but forgive me. I feel all excited right now, like I'm doing something new. So, okay. So you were going to tell a story, and okay, guys, for those of you that are in here, thanks for coming in, everybody. We're just having an afternoon tea time with Nomadic Brit.
Yeah.
And trying out Streamyard on my channel. And so I want to say thanks before he gets started that I got like 613 subscribers. So I'm excited. So anyways, Britt is about to tell stories, and I love his stories. And so I just wanted to share them since we were playing around with this. He was so gracious to help me out and experiment with me, and it was super easy. So here we are. So get your drink. If you guys got time to chill, we're just chilling. Like, this isn't all formal and whatever. We're just playing around. But he's going to tell a story, and I just wanted to be on live because he's got great stories all the time.
Okay. What do you want to know?
What were you about to say? You were talking about Schneider, the stuff, the repair. You want to tell that again to everybody?
It's some people have seen it because I've been in some lives over the last few months, but obviously I had 2 months ago I had a big break. I had like a month-long breakdown. Basically, I went out about 3 times, and every time I went out, the lights kept coming up, and it cost $14,000 later. After I sorted that problem out, I managed to get back on the road. So I've been out for a couple of months because I burnt a big hole in the bank, so I need to put that back in plus some. That's why I've been out for nearly 2 months. That's why I'm staying out to the end of September, because my business is priority in life, you know?
Yeah.
That's what pays the bills. So I got to keep running. And yes, and the British are here because I'm the only person in this bloody truck stop, and no Americans are working today. Thank goodness for the British, because I'm trying to keep this country rolling while everybody else is sat on their bums flipping them barbecues and stuff like that. So
yeah, I tried to work, but I couldn't. So I couldn't find a load until tomorrow. But really, I mean, I don't try too hard to work on Saturdays because I take the Sabbath time, and that in that time is what I have set a standard in my life to focus, decompress, get my paperwork all caught up, clean the truck, get some exercise, spoil myself a little bit, clean up and all that other stuff. Like, I had to set aside some time to take care of myself because I will work and forget about me, like addictively. So I've made some rules in my life that I'm trying to obey now. So to be a good girl and behave myself. So that's my thing. So I will start running on Sunday morning. Old school, new school is in the house. Finally made it home for the weekend. Good. I'm glad you are home. And so I saw Stuart. There he is. Hi, Stuart.
Yeah. Fellow Brit.
Okay, okay, go ahead with your story. Sorry.
No, I just said a fellow Brit. Stuart's like me. He's like a Southern, whereas
Wait,
Robert.
but forgive my ignorance right now, okay, guys? But I thought Stuart was from Australia. That he was Australian. That's not right.
So did I. No, so did I, because obviously that's where we dumped everybody many moons ago. But I always thought because he sounded Australian, but he's not.
Okay.
He's off of M25.
Stuart, clear this up for Shannon. I don't know. Can you please say where you're from? how do I invite in the chat? How do I throw the link up?
You would have to send the email back out to. You'd have to get Stuart's email and send him out an email link.
No, I think I can do this, right? Can't I just post a link?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can put a link in your thing and they can jump in.
Okay. And so that's kind of cool. Guys, I'm trying StreamYard for the first time, so have patience and love for me right now because, you know, I'm just trying to see how this works as we go and try to have some fun at tea time today. So,
yes.
Okay. So, Stuart, if you're still there, he might have left us already.
No, he would have been. He'd still be here. He's listening.
I want to know where he's from because because Robert and you and Stuart, right? You are the Englishman in my life, right? And so I know you said Robert was Northern and you were Southern, so where's Stuart?
Stuart's a Southerner.
Oh man, look at this.
Hey,
flipping Canadians as well.
Hey guys,
how are you?
Hey, Stuart.
What's up, guys? What's up, man?
I'm having fun. I'm just playing around because I'm having a fun time learning this new stuff. I'm feeling kind of old. I had to get with it now, right?
Shannon, you're doing great. You're doing great. Keep going.
Thanks. Everybody got your coffee or tea? You know we're having tea.
Iced mint tea.
There you go. All right, Stuart, the question on the panel is, where are you from, sir?
Oh, so I'm from England, but I'm from Southern England, a place called Colchester. It's a place called Essex, which is pretty renowned for some good stuff down in. So it's a good part of the country. they make shows about that part of the country.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry if no offense or nothing. I seriously thought when I first saw you, like I was like, oh my gosh, he's Australian, right? So forgive me.
No, that's fine. I get it all the time.
He's been here too long. It's different because, like I say, it's like he Essex is like the, you know, and we class that as the London overspill because I'm from Wimbledon, London. And he's from, and we class Essex as the overspill from London. But Robert, he's a Yorkshireman. That's why he's got this crazy accent. And even I get lost listening to him.
He's rough around the edges. That's the best. Anyone from up north is rough around the edges.
Yeah, are they ever?
I almost don't feel good enough. I almost don't feel good enough. We got this guy up here from Wimbledon. This guy over here from what Yorkshire or what? No, that's right. But I live in Kent East.
Well, thanks guys for coming in. This all started just a little while ago, and Brit said he wasn't busy, and so because I was like, "What you doing?" And since he was available, I said, "Hey, I'm trying to learn StreamYard. Do you want to help me test it?" And here we are. So we decided to have tea and go live.
Snorlord's in here.
And Snorlord's in here. Wonder what the hell is going on around here.
The British and the Canadians have taken over, Steve.
I might need some backup in here, Snorlord. and Nevada came in too. Hey, Nevada, we're trying this out. I'm trying this out. So I figured,
Carl, Danny.
Trying to step it up. Yeah, or Danny if she's there.
Did you watch the video that they put out today? They did a really good video today. Nevada did.
I did watch that one.
They put out a really good video today.
Uh-huh.
I didn't catch it because I've been outside playing all morning. And this is funny. So I wanted to tell you guys this. Tell everybody this. Just for fun. I'm having like a silly day. So bear with me. I am at this receiver. Okay. And I'm in Wisconsin. So I'm super excited to be out of the heat because I have a black truck. Okay. Nevada says she's sleeping and he's getting dinner. Okay. So anyways, I dropped at the shipper on Friday, right? And I came from Vermont. I'm still here at this place. They have this big parking lot and it's across from their facility. And it's so big and they don't mind if you overnight park here, right? And so I don't have another load to pick up till Sunday. And so since I'm here, it's quiet, right? And I was like starving for some quietness, right? So I park over here And I realized I look over to the right and they have this little park area, and it's literally got a basketball court, a porta potty, and a mini golf course, and it's got a swing set with a slide, and it's got a horseshoe pit area, and it's got a pavilion with 2 grills, and a volleyball court, and a disc golf course, and a baseball diamond, and all this stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm hanging out here. Like, this is quiet. The breeze is beautiful out here. And so I decided I'm not going to a truck stop. I'm chilling here. They don't mind, and look at all this stuff, right? So I get up this morning, and I try to work out in the morning. I'm on my workout kick and all that. I've been doing really good. I've lost 16 pounds so far. I got everything like in check with my diet and all that. But I have to stay consistent on the workouts. I'm just trying to do 20-minute workouts, like one, 2, 3 times a week, and lots of walking, right? I'm really on my walking too. So it's been doing great. But anyway, so I get out to get ready. I pull out my yoga mat, throw it down on the ground and stuff. And I do my little workout. And then it's time for me to walk. So I start exploring this whole place, and I just had a ball. Like, they had the basketballs out, the golf clubs and the golf balls are out. So I haven't golfed yet, but I did walk around and check out the little course, and I did play some little basketball by myself to see if I could still make a basket. And out of 3 chances, I made 2 of them. So I was feeling pretty cool. So then I went over to the swing set, right? And then I swinged. I haven't swung in forever, right? So I was just like, oh, goodness. So it made me feel just like a little kid for a little while, right? And then I walked to get my steps, because I try to do 6,000 steps a day with my little Samsung watch and all that. And by the way, there's a new challenge for the month, and it's the big challenge that's everyone, right? Tomato September is what it's called. Anyways, I started that. So I try to keep my steps up every day. It just motivates me. So I went around this whole disc golf course and saw the baseball diamond and all that. And it's got rolling hills, right? So it was extra great exercise, because it wasn't just a flat walk on the blacktop, but I got some extra resistance from going up and down these hills. So I got a super great workout. So all of these things combined, I'm just been like a kid in a candy store. Like, that's been my morning. And the breeze was so great that I just enjoyed the fresh air, and the sun was out, but it wasn't too hot. And so I've just been having a ball all by myself all day, and been, and so now I'm like taking a break and trying to figure out StreamYard. But that's been my morning. Like, this is the greatest place to stop your truck ever and to deliver to, as far as I'm concerned. I wish every place had it for us.
That's a lottery win. That's almost like a lottery win. That's a 1 in a million. You never get that.
I know. And that's why I'm so geeked about it. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like right now, mentally, this is paradise. Like, it's Labor Day weekend. I had to stop for an extra day. How cool is it to have stuff to do? Right? I can go dribble the ball. I can play, right? And I am here by myself, me and a lot of Canadian geese. Okay. But that's it.
Well, it wouldn't work for Brit and Stuart, because there's no soccer field. They don't know how to play basketball, and they don't know how to play baseball. And there's no soccer field. 2 of them.
Oh,
They're going, what are we going to do now?
yeah.
So you can always walk, though, right? I'm always going to like lean back to that.
There you go.
Walk, wherever you are. I'm telling you what, man, it is my clothes. I'm going to have to buy new clothes pretty soon. Like, seriously, that's how fast, like, it's changed everything, because I was I'm into fasting like a lot. So I was fasting like crazy for days, right? And stuff like that. And I was playing with all of that. And I've been doing it for months, and there's no way that I have lost the weight that I have experienced since I actually started moving my butt and walking, just moving. And it's been incredible. Like, I've dropped 16 pounds in probably 3 weeks. And so now my clothes are all like feeling different and all of that stuff. And it feels great and motivating, but that's why. Wow. And I know Snorlord was talking about, he started working out literally just 20 minutes, not even like anything strenuous, a little 20-minute floor workout. I throw I got this extra thick yoga mat from Amazon, and I throw it out wherever I'm at next to the truck, and I put the little guy on the video, and I just it's a 20-minute workout, and it doesn't even feel hard. I mean, it did at first because I was so out of shape, but I realized what it's doing. Like, it's building all of my little small muscles, my stabilizer muscles and stuff like that. Like, I couldn't even balance. I couldn't do a push-up. Like, I was so out of shape. And I used to be a gym rat, like totally. So I realized how weak I'd gotten, and it really was a wake-up call for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even do one push-up. Like, this is over. So I flipped out, and I just started like redisciplining myself and doing these just 3 times a week. And then in between walking, or at least I try to get an hour in if I can't do nothing else, if I'm really busy. And it's made a difference in my stress level. And obviously, like, my weight is melting off of me now. So just because I've been driving for 3 years. So when I first started driving, I was driving team. It was exciting. We went to all the restaurants. I gained 40 pounds. And then I freaked out and I lost 40 pounds. And then I gained 20. And then I lost the 20. Right. And then I've sort of maintained, but then I just had my daughter's wedding. Right. So I looked at the wedding pictures and I was like, oh my God, I'm not necessarily giant in any means, but to me, I am. Right. I still have carried extra weight. And because I've been trying to battle it with fasting and stuff like that. But just since the wedding, I've literally dropped that 16 pounds since the wedding. I think that's been 3-4 weeks now. Wow. So, and it's just all I did. I didn't really make a whole lot of changes in my diet because I was already fasting and intermittent fasting and trying to eat keto, and everything I was eating was whole food and healthy. But I started moving, and I was like, I just can't believe it. So that's what's up. So I just been having a ball here. This is the best place ever. If they could have one of these at least at the rest areas we could stop at.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
Good luck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think a lot of that's gonna happen. I like I said, I try to do a lot of live offloads because that way then you can do. I can do about 3,000 steps because people don't realize I'm walking. They think I'm walking around checking everything. I'm not. I'm doing laps. I just ran the truck or up and down the trailer or whatever because they don't realize that that I'm doing something. They just think that's a part of the job. But I try to look after myself as best as.
They see me out there trying to do push-ups and falling down, and because I can't, I'm starting practicing balance. I don't even care. Like, I'm saving my life. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Anyone wants to come on up and work out with me, you're welcome to.
Right.
But it's important, And so, hey, I gotta ask you, Wheel Burner, I heard something that you had a weight challenge going on. Wait, is it you?
I have it. I don't have the challenge. I'm part of the challenge. It's James Best has the challenge, and it's I
haven't heard it yet.
It's broken down to I think there's over 20 guys in there now, or 20 people. Might be a couple of women, I'm not sure. And there's 20 of us in there, and they've set it for the date is by the time we get to go to Vegas, because a bunch of us are going to meet in Vegas. So it actually started today. Today was day 1. And whoever loses the most amount of weight between day 1 being today and Vegas, we all had to pay, what was it, $25 or something. So
$20 American dollars.
James has it divvied.
Are you all in on that, Stuart? You too?
Yeah, I could do it losing 30 pounds. So I signed up for it, and it's a good little motivator to get a little pay at the end, right?
It is. It's good for it cost us what, $25 or whatever it cost us.
You gotta put in the game,
and it's not just most weight; it's also body percentage as well.
Percentage.
Getting to that. Yeah.
Okay, so how are you going to measure that? I'm just curious. How are you going to measure your body fat percentage loss?
Well, it's no, it's not body fat percentage. It's like percentage of body weight. So, okay, I'm going to try and find. I'm thinking, okay, Randall's a heavy guy, right? If we both lost 10 pounds,
right,
I would have lost more percentage because he's heavier than me, of a percentage of your body weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I get what you're saying now.
As well. So there's like 2 jackpots.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. That's awesome.
There's a couple of guys in there of 450 pounds.
There's
one's 450 and one's 470.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a couple of really, really big boys.
Because I mean, okay, Ike's a big one, right? Ike was up in the 300s, and 6.5 feet nearly. So
Yeah, he's a tall chap.
you know, it's all relative. So and that's why I asked how tall are some of these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm so happy because it was like I just have a heart for all of us, right? Because this is I've only been driving for 3 years, you guys. You guys been driving forever. Like, I know the pain that I'm going through, like trying to like get back strong again. And it's so much, like I've lost so much strength. Like it's been absolutely freaking me out. So I can't imagine somebody who's been driving longer. Like I'm suffering through like the pain and achiness and like all of that and the strength loss. I used to be a very, very strong girl. And man, it's just been blowing my own mind, you know? And so then it made me think like, oh my gosh, all these guys have been driving forever. We got to walk together. We got to do something. We got to make some changes, you know? And so of course I can't get anybody motivated. So I'm glad y'all are doing that. I'm super happy about that.
It's not easy because I think for some of us, because the older you get, the younger guys have a better chance because they can jack their metabolism or jumpstart their metabolism. My metabolism isn't going to run at the same rate.
I gotta go.
Okay, nice, Stuart. Thank you for coming in.
See you, Stuart. I'm 52, right? So at 52, I can't compete metabolism wise with some guy that's 25, even if he's 300 pounds. And I think I weighed in. I sent James my weigh in last night. I was 231.8. Now, for my age and for my size and build, I'm supposed to weigh 210. So I've only realistically got like 21 pounds to lose.
Right.
Oh, you can do that easy.
Well, and here's the thing, Shannon. Like, I did flatbed work for 16 years. I was on flatbed and then back last January, I went on vans and I put that 22 pounds on. Right. As soon as I came off a flatbed and being active and moving and every day, as soon as I came off, all of a sudden I started looking down and going, I'm getting chubby. Like, what's going on here, right? and stupid me, I never did anything about it. I just went, oh, well, it's a little bit of weight. And then it was sort of like what you were just talking about there. It's like, oh, wait a minute, that hurts. You know, oh, my back, or oh, my shoulder, or oh, my. It's like, well, no, it can't all just because I'm old. It has to do with I was active before, and then you stop being active,
right?
And your body reacts to that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
What I've realized is that, like, okay, if you were to get down and do a push-up right now, right? So
you better put money on the table. You want to see me do push-ups?
Yeah.
Right. So I'll be 50 in December. Okay. So I also been like, oh my gosh, is this what getting old feels like or whatever, right? But no, because I know how strong I was not too long ago, right before I started trucking.
Right.
And so when I got down to do a push-up, because KB, the smooth one, we did a little challenge thing on thing because he's getting in shape too, right? And he challenged everybody to push-ups, and I tried to do one push-up, and to my surprise, I was like, oh my, I couldn't do it. Like I'm a wuss. Oh my God, I can't even do one push-up. So it was my wake-up call, right? And that freaked me out because I've only been driving for 3 years, you know, and it scared me, right? And I don't want to get diabetes. I don't want to go out like that. I don't want to die in my truck, right? None of us do. No, but it's like what I think what the most shocking part of it was to me was that in the short amount of time I've been out here, and now I've done rail, I've done pretty active stuff, you know. This is probably the most inactive part of trucking that I've experienced since I got my own truck. But you know, I was working at JB Hunt doing the rails and stuff, and I had to do all kinds of stuff there, you know, just more in and out of the truck stuff. And so I never really I never really thought in my mind that like I was losing everything like that. And so what really scared me was that this short amount of time, I haven't been driving for 10 years. I haven't been driving for 5 years. But oh my God, I'm lost. I've lost so much. Like I've always been able to do push-ups.
Yeah.
And it was a scary thing. And the more because I care about everybody out here, I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, we got to do something about this, right? So I was like, well, maybe I can get motivated and we can all like try to take an extra couple of steps and whatever and all that, but it was very shocking to me because I've never felt weak before. I've never felt like that, right? And it was just very scary. Yeah. And I don't want it to get too far gone, right? And I felt at that moment like, oh my God, I'm really like facing that. Like I better do something now.
I think that's the problem half with van though, isn't it? Because van is just pretty much it's just you don't have to get out and load it, or you don't generally have to unload it. Whereas us on tanker, we generally offload it generally, and I go out of my way to pick loads where I do have to get out and offload it because it gets me out of the truck rather than sitting in this little square.
And you got to climb up there and stuff, right? You got to climb.
Yeah. Actually, I'll show you this one because this always frightens people. Let's get on top of this one, actually, because this is a 4 compartment.
Show us how you climb that tank, brother.
Hold on, let me put my gloves on because I don't know
what's on. Watch out now! Watch out! Tanker Monkey is going on the scene. He's gonna show us out what's up because he's been talking smack all the time. Let's see it, Brett.
There's a policeman here. I got a 4 compartment one. This is stupid because they loaded it in the rear end. So I've come through the Virginia mountains with all that weight there, no weight here.
And there's no baffles in that?
No. Yeah, this one there is, but this chemical is sat probably in about this much of the trailer. All of this is empty. So don't ask me why they stuck it on the rear end because that teed me off.
So you got no weight on your drives.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
So he's dragging ass through the mountains.
You felt that going through the mountains, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a bit scary at times.
Yeah, I bet.
See, because I got 4 compartments up here.
He's up there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at you.
When they do training, they test people. They send them up here first of all to see if they can handle the 11-foot drop because people do fall off these.
Yeah, that's why I ultimately didn't go. I was so close to going with Schneider to do tanker. Like they had me almost talked into it, but when I found out what they paid and how the miles was they told me there'd be some sitting, and then I had to get up there, and I thought about the winter time, and I was like, oh, I don't think so.
Oh, if you look at one of my videos that I did, that was in the winter. I was on top of the one in Alabama, and it was white because it was ice on top of it.
Yeah.
But I did.
Up there, do you like get all cleated up on your boots and stuff?
No, I don't do that dirty stuff. I don't. If I'm gonna, I can still bounce. Hold on, I've got to put you there for a minute because I'm gonna take my gloves off. No, I can still.
You can flatbed, right? That's what I remember you saying.
Yeah. I've climbed up and had to climb around and some really funky stuff like oversized equipment. A lot of the combines out of Des Moines that came to Canada. I've pulled a lot of those, and so yeah, I've most of the stuff I've had to do. I'm not climbing 12 or 11 feet in the air, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not monkey. I was monkey boy for a lot of years, climbing around a lot of that equipment. Everybody thinks flatbed is they put all they do is pull lumber and steel. Well, we got a lot more stuff other than lumber and steel. We're pulling buildings, vehicles,
whatever. Yeah.
Anything, equipment, machinery, you name it. We've pulled it, and it takes some engineering and some ingenuity and some thinking and some, and it is physical. A lot of it is physical. Like I said,
Can I just stop everybody a minute? I need to jump out and go and use the little boys' room, because if not, I'm going to wet myself on YouTube. So I will be back in about 3 or 4 minutes.
None of that wetting yourself on this channel, sir. But go handle your business.
So about 4 minutes, I'll be back.
Okay. Hey, Brian, I want you just to hear, because I know you're flat better, and I have this lady that just came in, and she's the one I mentioned on my last video. I've just started watching her to give her some support. She's got a few little members on there, but I am impressed by this lady. She's a flat better, and she's got a long nose truck. So I'm gonna see if she'll come in. Edgewood, if you're still there, will you click the link? Will you come up and say hi? I don't know if she's still here. She just kind of came in and said hello. Let me know if you're still here. Anyways, her little channel's so cool. She just does a little thing. It's nothing all big and fancy, but she's got the long nose truck, right? Yeah. And then she's a flatbed lady, and she's like buff. Like, she's all like, I was like, that is so cool. And I had always wanted to do that because I was always physically strong. And I was like, it's only natural the way I work, right? That I would just go do that. And I even watched your video. You're like, all the stuff about the flatbedders, right? A long time ago. I think you've done it with ET Transport.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I don't know, man, that made me feel like there's a lot more to that stuff than what I was thinking.
A lot of people, first of all, a lot of people want to do flatbedding, and they go, oh yeah, I want to be a flatbedder. You know, you make a little bit more money, and it is a little more lucrative or whatever, until the first winter, right? And when you're out there, and they like say they're using cranes or whatnot, and they get your trailer loaded, everybody buggers off, and you're it, right? You're standing. So it's minus 30 out there, and you've got another hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on what you're loading. You could be out there for another 2 hours, upwards of 2 hours, strapping it, chaining it, tarping it, whatever. And then that's when the reality sets in, and most people are like, F this. No, not doing this, man. I'm going to go sit my ass. I'll pull a van, I'll pull reefers. I'll do that, but I'm just not doing it.
That's what happened to me. You're going to roll your eyes about this little story. Okay. So CRST almost had me, almost had me. If you look at their website, they say, oh, you can make $280,000, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I want that money. And I had always wanted to drive a heavy haul, like the gravel doubles. Right. I still would love to try those. And so I was in my mind at the time, I was thinking about how do I get into that heavy haul construction stuff. Right. And then everybody kept telling me, like, you're either going to have to start at a single dump, or you're going to have to start flatbedding, because I also wanted to do the heavy equipment on the flatbed. Like that was really what I wanted to do. And anything specialized, like I would love to have something specialized, because I know it makes a little bit more money.
It does.
Yeah. And so CRST had me. That recruiter was great. And my sister was like, what if you fall? Then your whole career's over. Right.
Yeah.
And she was right. I was like, oh, you're probably right. But man, I was so pumped about it. And then I talked to some of the flatbedders there, and they came from another branch. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, because it's in the States, but there was I guess it was like a flatbed company, and CRST kind of took control of that.
Sure.
And I forget the name of it, but I had contacted some of them guys that worked there, and they were happy. But I'll tell you what really turned me off about it was the fact that some of them guys told me, you will sit sometimes for hours. And you can tell me if this is true or not. But they told me you'll sit sometimes for hours waiting to get loaded. And then it's going to take you like an hour or two to tap or to tarp it. Right. And so those kinds of things made me feel like, ew,
Yeah. Okay. Generally, if you're doing specialized commodities, like you're doing big lifts or heavy moves or anything like that, you're looking extended. I've worked or had to be on site for upwards of 8-9 hours, depending on what the piece of machinery is or what it is that I'm doing. But if you're on with a standard flatbed company that does standard flatbed, you're pulling lumber, you're pulling forklift, you're pulling steel, you're pulling stuff like that. it's really not a whole lot different. Like the loading and unloading times, you're not waiting around. You don't do a lot of sitting. The most sitting, it depends on how good you are. The better you get at it, the more stuff you do. You know, if you don't have to sit there and think about it for an hour before you do it, because you've already done that 2 or 3, 5 times, then you get faster at it. You get better at it. And so the most amount of time gets eaten up. And they were right at that. It does when your job starts. Once it's on the trailer, a lot of the times it doesn't take a lot of time to get it on the trailer. The most time used up is your time that you're putting into it. So the better you get at it, the faster you get at it, the more experienced you get at it, you know, the less your time will be on site.
Okay,
You know,
so
there's some guys that can throw a load of, you know, for example, I can do a load of, like, bricks are easy, shingles are easy, but just this is just a time span. They can load down at Sugar Creek. They'll load me with bricks. It'll take him 15 minutes to get 21 cubes of bricks on the trailer, and it'll take me less than 30 minutes to strap it and put a tarp on it.
And so, do you think I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
I'm about 180 pounds right
Makes
now.
no difference.
It doesn't. And
Shannon,
so,
I know guys that are smaller than you that are flatbedding, and they've been doing it for years, and they're great at it. The only downfall that you have that I don't have is on certain loads, I don't have to climb on the trailer to put up a corner protection or shit like that, where you'd have to actually climb up on the trailer to do certain things, because I'm 6'2", right? So I can reach up and actually do that. But size makes no difference. Height makes no difference. Your weight, it makes no difference. I got a buddy of mine, Jer. He's a little 5'6", 5'7". He might weigh $150, and he'll go toe to toe with me all day long.
Yeah, I've seen some little tiny ladies do it, and I don't know. Edgewood 66 Transport's in here, and I wish she would come in here and talk real quick, but I don't think she's very tall from her videos. I can't really tell, but she's rocking that long nose in the flatbed. I was so inspired by that.
Good
like,
for her.
It makes me think, like, because I'd like to try different stuff in trucking, especially if I get once I get my truck paid for, right?
Yeah.
And I won't have a trailer, so I'm not married to anything, like, you know, and maybe I could try it and but I'm not afraid. Trust me, I'm not afraid to get up there and do it.
The biggest thing about doing flatbed work is people get intimidated by it. You know what? If you get it in your head that, you know, I'm going to be this, or I'm going to be, or if you listen to 20 negative people, you're not going to, right? It's in your head. If you want to do it and you want to learn how to do it, there are a lot of good guys out there that will take the time and work with you and help you. And you just have to be willing to step up and ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions, because you're like, well, look at him. I don't want to go ask him. I don't want to look stupid. Or the typical, and I hate to say this, but this is what this does happen. Well, I'm just a girl and I don't want them to laugh at me. Well, you know what? Bullshit to that. You ask the question. There's no stupid questions, because you're not going to learn if you don't. You're not going to learn properly if you don't. Anybody, I could take Brit out tomorrow and teach him to throw straps, but until he's done it 25 times, you know, he's not going to get good at it.
I was always brought up by my mother, and she said there's no such word as can't.
Exactly.
Right.
So
it's mindset, right? We go back to mindset.
It is actually. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And in this industry, and I don't know how many people are in here right now, because I can't see that on my screen, but I'm waiting. I'm going to hear
Uh-oh. The Canadian's frozen. Wheel burner's frozen. What the heck?
How many, Brit, can you see how many people we got? I don't even know how to do this yet.
Somebody throw it up in the chat. How many people's in
it looks like, how many, Brit, can you see how many people we got? It says 13 so far.
Okay, there's 13 at the moment. Could be more, could be less. It doesn't keep up within a split second.
Okay.
It's froze again. What the heck?
Yeah. Listen to this. She says Edgewood 66 Transport says she's 5 feet.
Okay. I'm only 5'10". I'm probably like one of the shortest drivers out here, because a lot of I don't know, maybe it's an American thing. A lot of American blokes, they're like 6 foot or 6 feet, 7 foot, 8 foot. They ought to start a basketball team.
Well, and they're not even the tallest ones, right? They're not even the tallest men. We have basketball players that are seven.
I
seven
know, but if you what's that chap's name? Shadow Wolf. He's 7 foot, I think. I think Shadow Wolf's 7 foot.
I
Flipping.
thought he told me he was like 6'5" or something.
No, he's taller than that. He's a monster.
He's the nicest guy, though. Like
I know.
He was a very friendly support and asked me if I ever needed anything, I could call him. So he's been very cool to me.
Post Trip is the same. Post Trip's about 6'6", 6'8".
Wow.
These guys are crazy. Ike's about 6'6".
Sorry. What happened to you?
I don't know what happened. Sorry, I guess a Canadian goose went over and blocked my signal.
I was going to say it's a Canadian thing.
I'm hanging out with like 100 Canadian geese today. They're like hanging out all around my truck, and I've tried not to disturb them and just let them do their thing. But this is a side note, real quick, off subject. They're hanging out in this dirt parking lot, and they're like dipping in the little mud puddles. They're just little puddles. And as I was walking, exploring over there in the golf course, there's a big old lake, right? Like not lake, but pond, right across, like literally probably maybe not even a quarter of a mile. And none of these geese are going in there. Like, that's weird. So
I know, you need to tell them.
I mean, they must, maybe there's something in it that's poisonous.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
No. Anyways, Brian, so while you were frozen, Edgewood said that she's 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a little girl, little lady.
Good for her.
And so she's rocking it. She's apparently she's been doing it a long time. So good. I've seen some little tiny ladies. So I felt like I could do it because I'm bigger. Like tend to be tall to most women, I think.
Yep. Your size makes no difference. Let me tell you, your size makes no difference. It's your heart and your willingness to learn. And you obviously got to be fairly smart. You're not going to, I'm not going to use the word, but you can't be stupid, right, to do the job. You got to have some brains about you to do it. So,
somebody told me that I would have to pick up like 100 pounds of tarp. And if I couldn't do that, like I wasn't gonna like.
No, that's true. That's true. Depending on the tarps you have, like the tarps that I own, I had lightweights because I'm a puss. But a set of lumber tarp, one tarp is upwards of about 90 pounds, and you may have to pick that up, and you've got to get it up on top of the load. So set that as your bar. Okay, find yourself a tarp, a lumber tarp. There's steel tarps and there's lumber tarps. So you need a lumber tarp, and you basically use that as your bar. Pick it up, move it around, get it on your shoulder. If you can press it over your head, but you got to realize it's going to be about 90 pounds. The lightweight ones are about 60 pounds.
But you got to throw the weather into that as well. Either snow, ice, pouring rain.
Your tarps are rolled up on your deck if you're not using them. But if you run through a rainstorm, now those tarps are full of water. You can add another 20. You can add another 20 pounds just in water weight, right? So it's just kind of set the bar at that. If you want to know physically, strength-wise, what you're going to be required, start with your tarps. If you can't get one tarp up over your head and onto a load, start working out.
See what I'm saying? So I'm just like, oh my God, that makes me feel like I have a long way to go. Because if I can't lift my own body weight apparently, and so I gotta keep working out. But these little ladies do it somehow. They manage, right? I think they do things
they get a system. It's like we have our hoses are like about 20-30 pounds, something like that in weight. They're like 20 feet long, but you've got to. It's like I was on a job. What was it, like a few months back in West Virginia, And I was in the corner of this plant next to these machines. It was 104 degrees, and I had to put overalls on, safety hat, glass, everything, anything to stop heat coming out. So I'm cooking myself in my overalls, and I'm trying to lump stuff around, and I'm drinking so much cold water and stuff like that because I'm just evaporating. It's just evaporating through my skin. And I always tell people, like, if you've got like about 80 foot of hose, grab the furthest, because everybody grabs the first one, second one, third. I don't. Grab the first, the furthest one, because by the time you hit that last one, you're going to be absolutely knackered trying to get those bloody things up on the flipping rack and everything. It's all about trying to work stuff, and that's how I put it in some of my videos of how just to try and make life easier for people rather than. This is not a complicated job. Yes, we mess with compressed air, and yes, we mess like this is 1,800 gallons of acid that is going to a nuclear plant somewhere. I can't do it because we've only got 2 nuclear drivers, but they want me to relay it from Pennsylvania to where I'm taking it and dropping it off. But you just got to have a system, whether it be flatbed, tanker, something like that. You've just got to keep watching it and hold on. How can I make it easier? How can I just don't make life hard on yourself like these guys do?
Absolutely.
Right.
And young ladies, I do apologize.
I've got all the ambition, but it's like people start making me second guess my physical ability. So I was just like, because I'll go do anything. Like I will go. I'm not afraid to do nothing or go anywhere except for New Jersey. I don't want to go there, or downtown New York. But it's like that's my mentality. Like I'll go get it. Like tell me, like I'll go.
There's a lot of places I don't go to, but if the dollar is there, I'm going there, whether I like it or not. I have to do what is most profitable for my business.
That's what I'm saying.
Shannon, I've just been informed my dinner's ready. So thanks for letting me step in here. I really love what you're doing, and please keep it up. Well, I'm following you, and I'm telling everybody about you. So, Brit, it's always a pleasure seeing you, my friend.
Crazy life last night.
It got a little out of it, really. I did not expect that, but anything can happen. So,
yeah. All right, send my love to Dar. I know she's cooking for you, so
she is. I mean, she just gave me the get over here, dinner's ready. So,
okay, well, tell her we said hello and thank you.
You guys,
ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flat
so you can do it, and it's I don't know. Like I say, I do this because. I'm 55 years old. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I've got to try and look after myself. I don't. My thinking, thought on life is I don't take medication. Not interested in medication. I had an accident when I was about 17 or 18 years old, and I was prescribed the wrong medication. It reacted, and I ended up in hospital that night. It nearly killed me. So since then, I don't take medication. I just don't.
You. I'm anti all that stuff, but good for you. That's good.
I just take a leave if I get the occasional headache. That's it.
Right.
I don't want it. I just try to look after myself, and the best thing to do is get out and walk. If I go to a truck stop, I park at the furthest point where nobody else parks, because everybody parks on the fuel island, next to the fuel island, because they don't want to walk that distance.
I know, right? Like
I don't mind walking that distance.
That's another thing. Like I've made small changes in the way I do things like that, right there, because sometimes you can't work out. Sometimes you don't have time. Like I don't have time. I'm a runner. Like I go to work. I'm trying to get it, and I don't stop. But you've got to make changes in some stuff. Like this is funny. You guys are gonna laugh. Like when I'm fueling, I'll be squatting while I'm sitting there waiting for my fuel to fill up the tanks, right? Anything I can do, small changes to like move and to do an exercise, and parking farther away or parking someplace out like this. Like I'm not worried about being up to the food in the truck stop. I finally broke down and got a refrigerator. So I got some food on me. So I was like, well, shoot. Other than getting a shower, I don't need to be at the truck stop. And I more than anything, I needed some quiet time and this beautiful moment in nature. And I knew that I could move and feel safe, right? Because sometimes safety is an issue too. I can't just get out and walk wherever I'm at. So I do lots of little tricks and stuff to maybe get a squat in, or maybe stretch my leg at the fuel island too. Like I'll throw my leg up there and like do a couple yoga stretches, just anything. And then I'll walk around my truck while, just like even something's better than nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm surprised actually, because you just scaled that tanker like no problem, like in seconds.
Because that's
Like
what
you
I
floated up
normally do. So it's just a matter of, that's why I say you sort of have it's just natural, And I like doing that because when you park someplace where you get a much better view up there as well. Sometimes I've even put my deck chair up there and sit up there because you get a much better view than anybody else does, and you can see everything. So,
Man, it would be hard for me not to try to lay out in the sun up there like every chance I got, because I love laying out in the sun. As crazy as that would look, but that would be I'd be like, oh yeah, I can get up there, right? If I could get on top of my trailer and not break it, I would, just to get up there. But I don't know what the future holds, man. I'm going to buy this truck, I think, so far. As long as she doesn't.
You just got to look like, it's like when I signed the dotted line for this, when I first picked this up, this would have been the end of November 2015 when I got this truck from Schneider. I had done 6 months as a company driver, and that was the worst pay ever. That was just the worst pay. And I just needed to get a proper job because in England I work for myself. So to come here and then work as a company driver, to be told what to do was terrible, because I was dealing with stupidity half the time, because that's not the way I would do it,
Yeah,
So
it's
when they
hard.
said, why don't you do like this lease op? And I'd never come across that in England. Let's say that. Not that I don't know if they do it in England. I hadn't come across it. And Schneider at the time, then there was a 0 payment down. And if there's any lease haters in there, you can make it work. You just got to realize that once you sign that line, you're going to have to run, because those payments are relentless. They're coming. And once you think you're going home at the weekends and every weekend, and I'm not going to do this, forget it. That goes out the window. You're going to have to run. And I don't have a problem, because I don't know. I've just always worked. I left school at 15 and a half years old. I was out there working. School didn't bother me or anything. I wanted to just earn a living, and that was it. And I've always worked. Never been out of a job in 40 years. I've always worked. And I went over to this lease program, and initially Schneider was dispatching us until about the end of 2016. Then there was rumors around that on tanker we could start picking our loads, and it was like, oh my God, I'm never going to have to go back to New York. I'm never going to have to do this.
Right.
And they started putting up these loads. And the way that Schneider dispatches you, their mathematics doesn't work with my mathematics. So that's why you can run way harder and earn an awful lot more than the way they were dispatching me. And plus, when they were dispatching us, it was like God, we're talking about probably about $1.35 a mile. But we're going back we would have been gone back to 2016 to 2017, something like that, and we were just paid that mileage. So it didn't matter if they sent us 1 million miles, because it was the mileage rate. But once we got onto this load board, it was different. It was load value, and we have all different loads at different rates and stuff like that. And then it was just great, because then you could just start picking these crazy loads, and you're thinking, is that really how much they're going to pay me? And it would tell you, and it still does. It just tells you exactly what they're going to pay you. That's it.
Yeah.
I have the best DBA at Schneider. She is my direct contact at Schneider. And she knows how I run and stuff like that. And if I always email them on a Sunday to make sure they've got all their invoices right, because that week I've just worked, I expect to be paid that. I don't drag that over, because that's not how I run. That once that week is done, it's gone.
Right.
So she gets all my invoices and stuff like that, and I get her to confirm to me that everything is all correct, and she's done this and that and everything else. And we got a great system. Like I say, even though she works for Schneider, her husband actually is a truck driver, so she understands how we work. And she's more for drivers.
When you got somebody that understands, that it touches it on a personal level, like people understand. Like that's why I think Snorlord makes a a great dispatcher because he's got, like, for instance, because as the consumer, I wanted him to dispatch me now that I was turned loose out into the wilderness. And the reason I wanted that was because he has experience. I didn't know, like, it's even a new industry for me. So I'm really coming in like, whoo, you know, I mean, I did a whole lot of research, as much as anybody could do. But I understand the value of a service like that with somebody, not just a kid or whoever who's been dispatching for a couple of years versus someone who's actually been there, boots on the ground and all of that, you know, and then he has the strategy. So, but yeah, so now, I'm doing that for myself and trying to get that. But the value of having somebody with experience is like, man, everything just goes so much smoother. Like it's almost like they understand your language, right?
Right. But see, like when Schneider converted us to dispatching ourselves, they just dumped us out there. Didn't tell us how it, and even the OSRs that tried to teach us how to use the load board, they had no idea what they were doing. It was crazy. So that's why I said to Schneider Finance is the guys that lease the trucks to these contractors. By all accounts, they're nothing to do with Schneider. Yeah, okay, whatever. But they're, they are what they are. But now the new contractors have come on, I helped them so that they've got some sort of somebody they could. Well, I've actually one new contractor. I said to him that, me helping you, I just asked you to pass it on. So Taylor is a part of my system, and so is Vincent. Vincent started the same time as me, so we can offer them contractors 24 hours service. One of us is going to be awake, and one of us can. And I've even had to pick loads and all this lot and try to help these people, understand the system that they're going into, their, the areas, the rates. And all I say to them is just pay attention to what's going on around you. Know your trade. Like, like your van, know the areas you go in. If you're a flatbed, know the areas you go in. Tanker, know the areas you go in. And just get accustomed.
Yeah, because for me, like, it's okay, because when I was working with JB Hunt, they ran us in that Midwest region. And so now that's my preference, right? Because I know it. It's like it's like my trucking backyard, and I know the weather. I know the land. My truck is geared for the land. My truck is not geared for mountains per se, but I will climb some once in a while. But, so I think that once you put in the time and get the environment that you're going to run in, then it removes a lot of the stress, a lot of the unknown. And then probably in tanker, that, I mean, you guys, there's so much to concentrate on tanker. Like when I was talking to the Schneider guys, like they were telling me like how specific the systems are, and you gotta, everything. And just like hazmat for me, like there are certain things I have to make sure that are there and that are in place. And I have to know what to do when there's a spill and when things go wrong and all of that. Like that's why I can run hazmat, because I'm seasoned in that now. But tanker, it's even more like, oh my God, it's so much. Like I hope that it really pays more, like double what we have to do, because it seems like so much more responsibility.
I mean, the things you got to realize with tanker is that we deal with compressed air. You can't see compressed air. One person I knew that a few years back, a gentleman hadn't been out here long with Schneider. Not going to give out his name and stuff. He pressurized. What we're supposed to do is pressurize the tank. There's a couple of things that when I have to go, we have to do a lot of training with Schneider. It's just ongoing. And then you have to go back to prove that after all these years, you still know how to do this, you still know how to do that. Now, when I go for that training, I work the way that they teach us to work. But I don't agree with pressurizing a tank. They first say that once you get there, you make sure everything is tied down. You pressurize that tank so that thing is completely pressurized. It's like a massive aerosol can, basically.
like highly explosive.
Basically, but that's wrong, because if you connect everything up, you can open up everything, because pressurization will meet its maximum within 10 minutes. And I always start off slow, because if there's going to be a problem, like I've had a customer in Louisiana a few years back where they had a whole new pipework fitted by some contractor and not one fitting was glued. So all this stuff that suddenly I was pressurizing, every one of their fittings started leaking and started coming apart. And it was like, that's why I don't do it the way that Schneider expects us to do it. That's why I don't, and touch wood, I've never had a problem in the way I do it.
So do you train? Now I know you help train these guys. So are you training?
No, I don't train people. That's one thing I don't do. I educate them in picking their loads, their areas. I tell them when the best places are, because I can't be in every place. Because people say, oh, why do you tell them that? Well, why not? I can't be everywhere. Uh-oh. She's gone. Shannon's froze. So anyway, this is Shannon's channel. Welcome to everybody in this chat. I'm going to keep this going until young Shannon jumps back in. And hey, Pop-Tart. I can't see who else is in this thing, because I don't want to press these buttons, because I don't want to mess everything up. So hold on, Shannon's probably still thinking. She should jump back in a minute, because this, believe it or not, this is her channel. It's not my channel. I'm the guest, but I'm trying to keep it going. So anyway, how's actually, I couldn't even see it. I would say, how's everybody's Labor weekend going? But I can't see what you're saying. Oh, it's just me now. Hold on. Do I need to invite Shannon back to her own channel? Let me see if I can. Hold on. If I press the chat button, no, because I think that, yeah, I look like I'm sunburnt. I'm not actually, because the sun is straight there. I'm trying to cover the mirror as a point, but I've got an actual bracket on my windshield, as you call it, which to me is a windscreen, and it's got my phone attached to it. So, Shannon, help me. Yeah, but one thing I will say, a foreigner. Now, I'm a foreigner, even though we all speak the same language. I'm still a foreigner. Hold on, she's back. She's back.
Sorry, guys, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. She just jumped out. She's just trying to throw me under the bus. I was just talking to your fan base here.
Hey, you were always talking about the British invasion takeover, right? There it was.
We're just testing it at the moment. We're making sure we got all our bases covered. But I'm just saying, but you can make it as a foreigner. I was just saying, you can make it coming to this country. It's about work ethic. That's a major part of it. If you ain't got work ethic, don't do it. Toga.
I'm amazed at your story. Like, and I don't even know it all, but the little bit, just to come here from another country and your truck's paid off and you work your ass off, kudos.
Yeah, because
man.
that's what I'm saying to you, is that I paid my truck off in what are we in now, 2022, so it would have been 2020. Yeah, it was 4.5 years it took me to pay this truck off, but I knew once this truck was paid off, it's not just that doesn't finish. These trucks are bottomless pits.
Right.
Yes, I could go for another truck, but this economy frightens me.
I mean, so this is my thing. We drive around all the time. We know the guys buy older trucks, and we still see these older trucks. So, in my mind, my mentality is maybe my next truck will be an older truck, because apparently you can keep these things running. Yes, it's going to take some money and some maintenance, but apparently, when I think of this truck, I'm like, oh, it's 500,000 miles. By the time I get it paid off, it might have to be rebuilt or whatever. So I should just toss it and get a new one and start all over. A lot of drivers do that. They just go into another lease because they feel like they don't want to mess with it, and they go into a newer truck. And sometimes that might make sense, but I'm thinking shoot.
Right.
I'll just throw the money into it and resurrect it and keep on pushing. You know,
my take on business is everybody runs their business the way they want to run their business.
right?
Now this truck, I've put 1,065,000 on this truck. It had 1,000 miles on it when I got it because this was the truck that brought 3 Freightliners down to Houston. Big rig CEO.
Hey, dear CEO. And Pop's in here too, by the way. I know we were talking while she popped in.
Yeah, I did say hello to her. So this truck's got 1,065,000. Still on the original engine, because
Wow.
if you think about it, you know, these lease payments and stuff like that, I was paying, I think, with Schneider probably about 55, 60K a year with my MMA account and my truck payment. So
Okay.
last year I spent 45 grand. This year I'm only into it for 20 grand. So in my way of thinking, I'm still way ahead.
Yeah.
And this isn't about Chrome and all that. The Chrome doesn't get you home, as they say. This is a work vehicle. And
Yeah,
that's all
I'm
she
just
is.
talking about raw equipment functionality. I'm not no fluff. Forget all of that. Like, I'm not that person either. I'm talking about profitability, functional, straight. You
Right.
know?
It's like I do a lot of the work on it myself. I've got 6 shocks back there. I've got to change the shock absorbers on this truck, which I'll do not tomorrow, but Monday when I'm sat in Savannah, because the way I do it, the money that I save, I reinvest. So yes, I got all the impacts and everything else like that. So I'll do something like that. It only takes me, probably take me about an hour or so just to change the shocks on the front and rears and stuff like that. And then they're just good to go. And I paid $36 from Schneider. I thought they were going to be a lot more. They were like $34 last year, but Schneider only charged me $36 for these shocks. So
so down the road,
Mhm.
because your truck's got a lot of miles on it. So what's your, like, if it needs a rebuild, or when? Well, I'm gonna say when, because the way you run, like, it's a matter of when. What's the plan for Nomadic Brit and his truck?
I'm tempted at the moment to buy another engine and get my mechanic to break that engine down and start prepping it, because you can pick up an engine for probably 8 to 10 grand. Then they'll break it down and he'll tell me that it's the head, bottom, whatever. But I know then when this thing pops, you can just throw another DD13 in it. And then once I take the engine out of this, I've got a couple of years just to break this engine down.
Right. So that's your plan right now?
It is at the moment. That makes some more sense, because I don't want another truck payment. I don't want another truck. This works for me. And when you buy a truck through Schneider, she's grandfathered in. Now, so this truck can stay there until she completely falls to pieces in rust and everything. But the only thing I've got to do is rebuild. I'm going to rebuild the back, the rear ends and stuff like that. And yeah, it's going to be a new truck. So
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Like, Big Rig CEO, yes, I did. That's the thing. So instead of even like imagining buying a new truck, because my God, the prices are outrageous, and I hope they come down and all that other stuff. But my mind isn't even there. Like, I'm not like, oh, someday I want a new Pete, or I want to be in a nice, I mean, yeah, maybe I would like a new Freightliner, but that's not really what I'm thinking. Like, it's all extra stuff. But I know that as long as I can manage this truck and all the repairs, like, this is my truck. I want to keep this truck at this, like, but, because I eventually want to get another one, and I want to put a driver in this one. Like, that's kind of my long-term goal. And so, but I think that my dad was a master mechanic. So my dad could build a race car out of anything. And I have that mentality. Like, I've always been like, I'll buy a used car and I'll put the work into it and fix it up. I'll buy a fixer-upper house and I'll put the work into it and I'll fix it up, because I don't like paying full price for anything, and I don't like buying anything all new and flashy to a point. But
Right.
stuff like that, stuff like houses and cars and things like that, like I was just raised with that mentality, like, hey, if it runs, we can fix it, you know?
Right.
So I feel like I'm always going to save money buying the used one and then put a little bit of money into it and making it better. Right.
Right.
And I still kind of feel that way. Like there's a lot of people that, oh, I'm just going to keep a new truck and all that stuff. But even my parents are leasers of cars, right? They always keep a new vehicle, and they're
Right.
always trying to get me to get off my plan because they're like, oh, get rid of your car. You need a new one. And I'm like, why would I? My truck just started. Why would I pay 30 grand for a car?
Mm-hmm.
No. So I kind of don't want to do the same kind of activity with a truck. I don't want to pay 200. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? $200,000, $300,000, $200,000, $180,000.
Right.
This doesn't make sense to me. Not when I can drop what, at most, a whole rebuild and everything along with it is what? What are you going to pay? 50,000?
No, not for a rebuild. You won't be way less than that.
I mean, everything. Like last day I picked up this old piece of crap truck and I had to replace all this stuff and get it road ready and new tires and new brakes and all this other stuff. Like I feel like that would be like 50,000 ish, maybe less, to totally rebuild the motor, fix anything that has to be fixed on it. Because I've always had it in my mind, like I want to have my maintenance fund when I go out on my own. I want to have 50 grand that I'm sitting on for maintenance for any of the trucks, at least. You know?
Right. I mean that like I said, last year my one box system went out. That was 16,000, and my filters for that were another 2,500. That was just two components. My gearbox went, believe it or not, a 10-speed manual was only about 4.5 grand. And I say it's only 4.5 grand, but I'm not being blasé. It's
right.
I just, when you look at it, you think, is that it? 4.5 grand? Just okay, that'll work. And I had the clutch, and it took all that lot. Now, if you list, if you ever come across Big Rig CEO like he's in here, James is the same guy. He was a Schneider van driver. So he went through the same system that I did, because tanker, whatever, we're leases through Schneider. Now he did that same thing, and once he got his truck paid off, and he went through to a carrier, and now he's his own carrier, as far as I know. But he's still running that same truck. So you can do it with these. You just got to look after these, and that's where half the people go wrong. They don't want to throw money back in these trucks. Yeah, it's a part of your business. You need to throw money back in these trucks.
I mean, why not use it until you can't no more? Like, look at these old Freightliners out on the road. Look at these old long-nosed trucks. They're old. They're old. And they're still running freight. So why, if I'm uncomfortable in my truck and I don't have everything that makes me comfortable, I can understand I might want something that, because I live here. So, but other than that, this truck has got everything that I need, and it's functional. It's great on fuel. And who said don't buy that truck? Somebody said don't buy that truck. Chicken Hawk, don't keep that truck, Shannon, and do not put a driver in a second truck. Well,
the second truck, I've got trying to find a carbon copy of yourself has got to be pretty difficult, because when you're taking on somebody that's going to run your truck, that represents you. Now that person may not be a very good driver.
I know.
And that's the thing you gotta watch for.
It's a huge risk. And you're right. I think about that. Like, I'm not trying to be fruitcake or nothing like that. Like
I'm not even insinuating that. I'm just saying it.
No, I know that. But some people are like, no, you should never get a driver. Like, they're gonna run you into the ground. Like, I know it's a very controversial thing.
Right.
But at some point, if the economy doesn't freaking crush all of us or me or whatever, at some point, how can I grow my business if I don't take risks? Right? I just need to be prepared for what could happen. And And I know that's a big statement. I get it,
Right.
guys. I get it. But
I think the way that you can grow your business, I know James has taken on somebody, Big Rig CEO. He's actually taken somebody on. So, and I stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I believe he has just taken somebody on. But to me, the economy's going downhill. It's going to crash. It is going to crash. But that's what I believe.
I don't think we're done. I don't think we've seen it all yet, for sure. So I can't come on here and say, hey guys, this is my business plan. This is what I'm going to do no matter what. Because I backed off from what I set out to do because of all those things you're talking about.
Right. Because it's a matter of you've got to just set yourself up to get through this, of what is going to happen over the next 12 months. And I think we'll start seeing the proper effects. I mean, we're already in a recession. In my eyes, we're already in a recession. I know that they say, oh yeah, hold on a minute, things have changed, or whatever. We're in a recession. Truck prices are coming down. Schneider is trying to flood the market at the moment with trucks now. But it's not just Schneider, it's auction sites, it's everything else. So trucks will come down and down and down. That's just a part of evolution. You have to have a crash to actually grow. But it's just a matter of how you work your way through this and make sure you got no crazy overheads and stuff like that, and just prep yourself, like
right.
you're doing.
And I will be so bold to say that I'm not afraid to understand that my business plan may not work out the way that I set off. Because of what's going on in the world and the way things have changed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that remains to be seen. And so what I've done mentally is just dialed myself back to run this truck as best I can and learn the best, absolute best, most efficient way to run as a one truck operation before I ever decide to multiply that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The one thing that you have said to me before, which I think is going to be a savior for you, is that you said that Dart pay you at the end of that invoice. Once you put something in, you get paid almost immediately.
Oh yeah, I get paid every load within 24 hours.
Right. So that's a game changer right there. I don't. I get I get paid for it at the end of the following week and whatever. I'm just saying, but you've got that thing that as long as you're keeping yourself busy.
Yeah, my business is cash flowing all the time. I got deposits going in my business account almost every day because I don't choose to run long loads either. I won't run a 5-day load. I'm trying to finish a load every single day, or at the latest the next day, half the day. That's how I try to run, so that I got deposits coming in that bank account every single day.
And that's the thing, because as long as you're aiming yourself as best as you do, you pick your loads, don't you, or do you get dispatched?
No,
right.
I do everything. I do everything for my business, and Dart takes 30%, and then I pay for the truck payment. Mm-hmm. I pay for the insurances and the toll things and all that, and I pay for my fuel like everybody else. But Dart just gets a cut of everything that I do while I'm buying the truck from them. Right,
and I know people get all sideways about all this percentages. Forget percentages. A lot of people get out here and they get all in their feelings about, oh, I'm losing this. No, you're not. If you're happy with the money you're making, don't forget that there's a reason why you're paying percentages, because there's this back office of everything. Dart makes your life easier within reason,
They definitely do, because I have a support system, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. There's a reason why there is. Same as I have with Schneider, and Big Rig CEO can tell you that. When you come under that umbrella, I get cheap insurance, I get fuel discounts, I get this, that, and everything else. I get a low board that I ain't got to fight with brokers or any of that stuff. There's a trade-off for that, and I
their load board, right?
So they have their own board.
Yeah, and so they've already done all that work for you, and they say, here, now you get to pick. Okay.
Right.
So when I first came to Dart, I was dispatched and I got to pick from the dispatcher saying, hey, run this load. If I didn't like it, I'd send it back. I'd be like, I don't want to run that load. Send me something better, blah, blah, blah. And I had to do all that. I did that for 5 months. It was a pain in the ass and it didn't pay. It didn't pay. But I had to put some skin in the game and I had to prove my work ethic and all this other stuff. Well, then they cut me loose. And they cut me loose right at the time when the market went back down. So so everything has been a big challenge and I'm working through it, And so we have Schneider boards too. Like I get to go on the app, right? And JB Hunt and all those apps. We got that option too.
That's what a lot of guys on Schneider don't realize. We have company drivers, we have contractors like me, and then we have this Schneider, is it Schneider Freight? Schneider something like that, where you got the click and goes. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at this third part of Schneider. I don't have access to that,
Well, you're not missing anything. Okay, let me tell you. I won't even run Schneider loads because they are smoking something funny, because there is no way I'm running those cheap ass loads like that. They're crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And JB Hunt, at least I can negotiate with them. Schneider's app, you can't. It's like you either click it and book it or not, and it's ridiculous rates.
It's like if you follow the Danny and Carl Nevadas, they've taken that next. They were, still are. They're working for a carrier that was dispatching them and blah blah blah. But now they've taken that to that next level where Nevadas, they've got to pick their own loads. They've got to start planning out stuff, which, that's that next level. They earn more as long as they can put themselves into that correct market and things like that. There's so many different angles to this whole transport thing. I'm happy with what I do.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. Like so Dart doesn't have their own board like Schneider, right, or JB Hunt. If I could have it a little easier and I got a little benefit from working with them, and that's the case, that would be easier. But I'm literally like thrown out to the wolves, and it is sink or swim. And that's what I came here for. I wanted the challenge. I wanted to learn it, and I wanted to learn. If it was the hard way, then it's the hard way. But I'm doing it, and I'm going through the aches and pains of learning the ups and downs. And there is no BS. Like, Dart is there, but this is, if you wanted it, they're going to give it to you, damn it. So, and a lot of people fail, guys. Like, a lot of people do. And I'm still like, I'm still right there. But they gave me exactly what I came for. And I wanted the chance to get my own truck, and I wanted the chance to negotiate with brokers and learn how to do all that and pick the loads and all of that, And so in Schneider's game, like, they can remove some of that for you, and that's cool. That's the way they do it. It's not a bad company. I'm not knocking them at all. And I certainly can't, say everybody's got a different system. But as far as what I'm doing, everything in my business is what I do. And the only thing, I have 2 business contracts with Dart. One is for the truck, and that's with Highway Sales. That's who sells the truck. It's not even Dart. They're affiliated with Dart. The second business agreement is with Dart to run their freight. Okay? This is how they work, in case anybody gives a crap. If at any point I am unhappy with my freight contract with Dart and say, hey, I don't want to, hell no, I'm not taking your free trailer to use, and I'm not giving you 30% of my freight. I don't want to be in this business agreement. I can get out of that agreement. I would have to move my truck. I have to move there's stipulations, right? Then you get into that part. So now with Highway Sales, it's like, okay, you can move your truck to a different carrier, but you don't get the free trailer no more. You got to pay $3,000 to change it over, whatever fee that's called. And then you can move it to a carrier that is approved, that we can prove that can cover the insurance and that can take the payment out of every pay. That's the rules. So I can move my truck at any time. But I get a free trailer here, which, you know, of course, I say free, but we all know, like, it's in the fee, right? It's in the 30%. But that's a benefit to me right now while I'm starting my business. So I am not paying a bad price for my truck. My truck is absolutely fantastic. I want to get to some comments because this wasn't about Dart. Big Rig CEO says, hold on, let me jump up. I'm sorry, guys. Pop Tart says, this girl has seen it all. Dirty dispatchers and bad leases, and these companies are horrible out there, and you got to know what you're getting into. I absolutely agree with that, Pop Tart. Big Rig CEO says, Shannon, there is still plenty of really good paying steady freight. You just have to know how to find them. Oh, I do fine. I'm doing fine. Like I don't know if you watched the last video, but I threw kudos to my brokers because I have been smart enough to and studied enough to know that making relationships with people, the right people, is what carries you through in business. And so I have great relationships with the few brokers that I use. And they have absolutely helped me out this last week. And so I'm only $400 left in the hole, guys, after my first week back. So I'm very grateful for those relationships that I'm building. And that's part of what I know about how to, you know, fortify my business for the future. I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than most out here right now. Like, they know what I asked for. And I do good work. I do extra stuff, like little extra stuff, nothing really time consuming or nothing. Hang on, let me shut the truck off. So it charges the battery once in a while. So I do good work because that's how I want to build those strong relationships, right? My service is good. My customer service is good. My communication is good. I send photos of the freight. I send photos of the sealed doors. I send a photo of the secured freight when I strap the load. I strap all the loads. They like it. You know, stuff like that has got me probably a little bit of sugar on top. Pop-Tart says, I tell people more than just driving. It's a lot more of you think all you do is just drive and that is it. I tell people more. It's more than just driving. It's a lot more. If you think all you do is drive and that is it. Yeah. Pop-Tart, most leases are set up for failure as they own benefit the company. You're right. I researched extensively leases before I chose one. This Trucking Life is in the house. Barry Harbison, Tolga, Edgewood, 66 Transport, Chicken Hawk. This Trucking Life says, I have called Schneider to negotiate a rate and they wouldn't go above 207. That's what I'm saying, this Trucking Life. I don't play with them no more. I'm not. Like, I ain't even got time for that. Barry says, good evening, good people. Pop-Tart says, hey, Barry. Tolga says, Barry. Hey, Barry. Barry says, evening, Pop-Tart. Edgewood 66 says, you're awesome. Thank you, love. Pop-Tart gone trucking. I'm going to throw down on the grill for you tomorrow, Barry. Are you talking about food? That sounds good. Sounds like you can get to grilling. Pop-Tart says, all right, great live, Shannon. Everyone be safe out there. I got to upload some videos. Love y'all. Okay. Thanks, Pop-Tart, for coming in. You're awesome. Tolga says, Barry Harbison doing well, sir. Just chilling with the folks. How about you? Do you guys want to do a barbecue party without me there? That would be great. That would be the gotcha fee. Trailers are expensive. Yeah. No, you know, Dart sells it to you like, which is fine. I'm not bitching. You get a free trailer. It's part of the deal. But, you know, I get 70% of my freight. They get 30%. all the bells and whistles included, support, office support, blah, 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 right? It's all included. I knew what I researched it. Like I didn't make the decision for just like, oops. No, I didn't. I knew exactly everything that was going to happen before I made the decision because I left JB Hunt to do this. Great job at JB Hunt that I love very much. It was a very hard decision for me. Just got done watching my college football team defeat Cincinnati. Barry says they didn't make me drink too much. Barry says send a photo of damaged freight and tell them if the rate would have been better, you would have cared more. I don't even get that far, Barry. I don't run freight. I don't run freight that's that ridiculous. Like there's only so far I'll go. I know my numbers. I know what I gotta have. Like I don't just take stuff to take stuff. I make business decisions every time that I'm on the phone with those brokers. I run my numbers every single time that I'm on the phone with those brokers. I pick loads before I even talk to them after I look at the numbers, or at least get an idea. And if I got to have more, I just start negotiating on the phone. That's why I don't do click and goes. Like I started doing that when I first got out here to get my feet wet, but got over that real fast. I love people and I love working with people, and I am not afraid to like tell you, hey Barry, do you got this load often? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, or if you do, hey, I'd like to run this. This was a good run. It went very smoothly. The people were cool. Like, keep my number if you ever have it again. I say stuff like that. That's how you start making the relationships, right? Big Rig CEO says, keep your no-fail attitude and you will succeed. You know it, sir. Thank you. And what did Freightliner say about the extending your warranty? So I put in a call. I'm waiting for the call back from the sales guy. So I have to have the conversation. But also, Premium 2000, Big Rig, do you know about that? I think Cassius King suggested that to me. Or 2000 Premium. I can't remember the name. It was something like that. But that's the one that Cash had. And a couple of guys actually recommended that to me. And maybe you were one of them. So if you were, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I called the Freightliner guy and he's supposed to call me back. And in the meantime, had discussions with people. And they said that they were happy with that and it was a good warranty and maybe I should get that. At this point, I don't know if it's the same thing, but I'm on it. So anyways, this is my first Streamyard, guys. Thanks for coming in. We were just hanging out having tea with Nomadic Brit, who we lost. He is MIA. But I sure appreciate you guys' support and coming in. This is kind of fun. Hey, Curtis. Wheel Burner Express says, Shannon, please take the time and learn the trucking business. Oh, I think that was before. Hang on, I'm late. Bigger CEO is the last comment. Okay. So I hope you guys are having an awesome time. I don't know if you're all home cooking or what's going on. I don't know who's on the road. Is anybody on the road? Put the link back up. Uh-oh, Big Rig C. Hold on. Here's the link. Big Rig CEO says the third-party warranties aren't as good. If you don't get a call back, shoot me an email and I'll put you in touch. Oh man, I would appreciate that. There's a link if anybody wants to come in, hang out. We're just hanging out. Nothing formal. I'm not trying to teach nothing about what's going on. But I will tell you if anybody asks. Okay, what happened to you, sir?
Schneider rang me.
Oh,
They don't normally ring me because I don't have a lot of contact with Schneider.
they only call you when you're talking to me. Like that's evident.
It would appear so, because it's like
Yes.
I said to him, I need to get off the phone.
So
They just want to know, am I going to deliver this tomorrow morning at this place for like 9 o'clock? And I said, what does my ETA say? And it says 9 o'clock. Well, that's because I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock.
look at what Faye says.
Yeah. You need to jump. He needs to jump in here, because you can hit the link as well, Frank. You muppet from Minnesota.
Yeah, Faye. If you want to come in and hang out, you're more than welcome to, sir.
Yeah. Come in here, you muppet.
That's so funny. Oh, Britt, I gotta ask you something funny. I heard you say one time. What's the word for crackers? You said. You said so. There's a funny term that you say about some kind of crackers.
Giggle?
No, it's what kind of crackers? There's like an adjective and then crackers. Some kind of crackers. I think you were talking about some food or some tea, some stuff that you have with tea or something like that.
You have tea and scones.
And scones. Okay, but is there a, I wish I could remember it. It made me laugh so hard. It was the cutest thing. It was something crackers. I can't remember what you said. Anyway, I thought you might know it off the top of your head.
No, there's a lot of things I say that people just laugh at me, and I get lost. I'm thinking, what the heck? Because we have different terminologies, obviously, but a lot of our lingo is pretty much the same as you guys. Freight normally takes the mick because he talks weird anyway. So I always take the mick out of him. Because coming from Minnesota, they all talk weird.
You got Minnesota. Come on, Faye, you got to say it. Get on here. He's got to come on and say Minnesota.
Irish. Yeah, I don't think I'm Irish, actually. We tell the Irish and the Scots and the Welsh what to do. So let's just leave that one there.
He's in a restaurant right now. He can't come out and play. That's all right.
Oh, how can you be in a restaurant but still be on this live? Don't even use that one, young sir. You need to come in here.
The conversation might be boring where he's at. I don't,
No.
It feels like he misses us. Maybe he misses us.
If Big Rig CEO is in here, he needs to come on this live, because he can tell you guys a lot of stuff, because he's on the spot market. He is, I believe.
You know what? Why don't Big Rig, if you're still in here, will you come in? I'd like to say hello. See your face.
Come on, James. Come on in here.
If you would, sir.
Yeah. I'm in it.
He might have left us.
No, he should still actually be in here. Somebody like Big Rig CEO and Nevada, something like that is just that's taken their company into that next level. Those are people you definitely need to pay attention to, because they have gone into that next level. That I'm not in that level. I'm content where I am. I am very good. What's he saying now? In a restaurant, very loud. See, that's a guy from Minnesota. Very loud. He's trying to say very loud, but that's how those guys talk.
You're so funny.
He's just being facetious. So I'm not even gonna respond to that one, Frank.
Big Rig, are you in here or not? Like, that's what we need to know.
Yeah, come on in here, James.
AJ Wilson's in the house. Fate Trucking's in the house. Toga's in the house.
Evening, Toga. Toga's not even in this country. Toga's like millions of miles away.
Toga, where are you? Toga's always around, though. He's always,
I know, but he's not even here. He's obviously Toga's a very polite chap. Nobody's met him. Someday, I'm sure he can hit the link.
Hit the link, Toga. Let's see what's
I know. Up. I tell him that in some of the lives to say, you need to hit the link, young son, and come on in.
Yeah, you're family.
I know he's a part of the community, even though he's not actually on this rock. He's a part of this community.
He lives in Turkey. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah.
What's going on in Turkey, I wonder? AJ Wilson says, I just finished training for JB Hunt. What do you recommend for me as a regional beginner intermodal? Go get that money, because it's there. I made such good money there. And I'll tell you another recommendation since you asked. run 6 days a week, every week, if you can. I was still able to make it home, like, for my 34, and then came back out, worked 6 days. The reason is because you will make great extra money, because they start offering bonuses if you work 6 days. They'll throw an extra $150, sometimes an extra $250, and they do it at the last minute. So there he is. Hold on. He's coming in. Hi, Big Rig CEO.
Hello from the road.
Hey, James.
I am working also, sort of.
You're working? Okay.
Yeah, well, I was. My load is delivered, but when I got done, I only had 45 minutes, and I live 3 hours away, so I'm waiting till morning to go roll home.
Okay, but you're going. That's
yes,
good.
yes. Take Sunday and Monday off. Leave back out on my regular run on Tuesday.
That's good.
But James,
I'm so glad you came in. Thank you.
James, I will say, and I find you a very interesting chap, and we've spoken a couple of times.
Right.
And I stand corrected. I know you went from that carrier prior. You started your own authority now, haven't you? And you have somebody else working for you, or?
Right. Yes, I hired a contractor to work for me. He started 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
How's it going? How's that going?
Good so far. I provide him we do refrigerated freight, so I got him a trailer.
Okay.
And he runs the same dedicated stuff that I run, and I'm basically dispatching him.
Okay.
Because it's the same. I don't want to call it dedicated, because I have like 5 different brokers that I deal with, but I run a specific lane, and that's all we do. And I do that because I consistently get over $3 a mile and over $1,500 a day, typically $1,800 to $1,900 a day.
Wow.
Nice.
Over $3 a mile.
Nice.
On everything we touch, and that includes the deadhead. There's very little deadhead in running it that way.
That's great. Really great.
And I'll put on probably 2 more contractors after the first of the year. I'll be looking to do that. I mean, it's not easy to find solid contractors.
Right. And that's a lot of guys tell me that when they hear like what I was dreaming about, what I am dreaming about is like, don't do it. Don't go that route or whatever. Well, what do you say to that?
It depends on how much you want to work, right? So when it was just me and I went home for the weekend, I was off. That was it. It was done for the weekend, right? And I typically go home every weekend. Now with a contractor, like last weekend, I got home and everything kind of got goofed up, but I got home at 10 o'clock in the morning. I had to leave at 9 o'clock that night. Only because I had a really early pickup. I didn't want to make my wife get out at 4 o'clock in the morning and take me to work. I could have stayed home and stayed the night, but it didn't make sense. So I get home at 10 o'clock. At 10:15, my phone rings and it's my contractor telling me, hey, my load just canceled. Now, instead of spending quality time with my wife and kid and grandkids, I'm stopping on a Sunday to find him a new load.
Right.
And the more contractors you add, the more problems you're going to have. There's just no way around that.
Right. Well, that's being the boss, right? You got
right. What I will say is,
it's
when I weighed the risks of hiring contractors or putting a driver, like buying a second truck and putting a driver in it, I don't like that model. I don't like it because drivers are unpredictable. Now, I say that. I've had a driver, actually the guy that was a contractor, I had him driving my truck when I was off. And that worked out fine. And he's a really good friend of mine. And if it were anybody like Snorlord, I would have done that for him too. If he came to me, he's like, hey, man, I really need you to let me, run your truck on your days off or something for some money. I'd be like, dude, that done. But there's very few people in the world I would trust to operate my equipment because my 22 years in business is in trucking. I've only been in business for 6 years now. But my 22 years of trucking has taught me that company drivers give no shits about equipment that's not theirs. And that's why, so then I'm like, okay, well, if I want to have a business where I grow a company, what's the alternative? And until they pass AB5 nationwide, the alternative is the Jeffrey Like model, where you bring on contractors, right?
Yeah, it's so perfect.
And so, and the reason why there is typically you're going to hire somebody like you or Brit. You're going to hire somebody who's responsible and wants to just go up one more level, right?
Yep.
They take care of their equipment, and
they got some.
You're going to have less. You're still going to have trucking headaches, but you're not going to have as many personnel headaches as long as you weed out because there's a lot of guys that are even doing what we did, like Brit and I, and what you're doing, where we leased our way into a truck that couldn't manage 50 cents to save their lives.
Right.
And those aren't the people you want working for you ever.
Right.
Because they're destructive.
Yeah.
And so, but there's plenty of responsible truck owners. Landstar has 25,000 of them, right? It's not that Jeffrey Like invented a new business model. He just borrowed theirs because it worked. And I like that business model better. And there's room to do it. Travel Loco did that. Advanced Trucking did that. What's that big one? Oh God, they're out of the Southeast somewhere. Anyway, they started out and they were like at 500 trucks in 8 years. F2F.
Right. F2F. Yep.
F2F started with one truck and had 500 in 8 years.
Wow.
And so if you run it right, you can build enough of a company where you don't have to be on the road anymore. But you have to be willing to work and take that risk and understand that the minute you start hiring people, there is no such thing as a day off. There is no such thing as a vacation until you get big enough where you can hire people, office personnel, to deal with that crap so that you can take a day off.
Right. And that's, even now, like, even I've always been working with upper management in anything I've done, except for exceptions of a couple of jobs, right? But it's always required work almost all the time. And then so going into this industry and my work ethic fits because I'll work until I can't no more. Like it's just what I do. Like that probably comes from being a single mom for so many years too, right? There was multiple jobs that had to be done. There was people that had to be taken care of. Like it's so ingrained in me that when I came to trucking, it fits me. It fits how my work ethic, right? I can work my ass off or not so much, but absolutely, like I know that being an entrepreneur, you can't be thinking about taking days off. Like I didn't get into trucking to be like, okay, I'm going to run a few loads and then I'm going to go home. Never once.
Well, look, it's okay to take the time off, but understand when you start hiring people, you're on call.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's problems that are going to arise, and you have to deal with them. Even if my guy picked his own freight, which he's fully capable and allowed to do, he just opts to let me do it because I do a good job at it.
Right.
And he wants to stay in my dedicated lane. Which I told him I'd put him in touch with those brokers. But even if he was going to book his own freight, he'd still have to let me know that load canceled, and I'd still have to step out and deal with that.
Right, because it's your MC, right? And he's you, right? Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the same situation I'm working in now. If something happens like that as of a service issue, like even though I'm running my own show and I barely talk to them, but if something goes wrong, I need to let them know immediately.
And you're doing van for Dart, right?
Yes, sir.
What, Britt?
All I was going to say was, James, what probably for Shannon to go to that next level, she would want to know, as I would want to know, how did you find that dynamic contractor that fits the way that you want that contractor to take your business? How did you find that driver?
Okay, well, this particular contractor that I have right now used to be a undercover narcotics investigator.
Okay.
And I want to say it was 14, 15 years ago. I worked for a company, same company Storlord worked for, Transland.
Right.
And I was a trainer for them. And one day they said, "Hey, we got a student for you." And that was my contractor. He was my student. I taught him how to drive a truck. And then I left Transland and I went to KLLM. And he left Transland and he went to the oil fields. He went to try that back-breaking work. And I was like, "Hey man, but we had other things in common, so we stayed in touch." And then when the oil fields didn't work out, I hired him to come run team with me at KLLM. And just split it with him 50-50, which a lot of guys wouldn't do. But that's one of the reasons why he wanted so bad. He left Landstar to work for me.
Right.
Because he knew that I wasn't going to do anything shady. I wasn't going to mess with his money in any way.
Right.
I'm just a straight shooter that way. But that's how I met him. Other contractors, I have the same type of program for filling out an application that Jeffrey Light uses, right? And they'll fill out an application, and you have companies that will look at an application and they will not weed out the people properly. I have a friend of mine, I'm not going to name names, but I have a friend of mine who also has his authority. And he was hiring a contractor, another YouTuber, and I warned him. I said, "Dude, don't do it. This is a nightmare waiting to happen for you." Then he puts the guy through the process, the application process. And in the application process, there's red flags popping up, right? Red flag, red flag. I'm like, "Dude, don't do it. Don't do it." But he was so, I want the money, that he hired him. And that guy's no longer working with that friend of mine because he didn't listen to me. And it turned out, of course, to be a nightmare.
Right.
So you just have to be very, very picky. Here's the thing. I don't have to grow.
Right.
I can just be me. I can be me and one other guy. I can just be me. I don't have to grow. I don't need the money, right?
Right.
So I will be very, very, very picky on who I bring on as contractors. They will have 2 to 3 years of owning their own truck. They will be financially responsible. They will show me that. They will have perfect driving records so that my insurance doesn't go up because of them. They will be top notch or they will not work with me. And I don't even want to say for me because I want them to work with me, not for me.
Right.
Yeah, because they're going to be a part of your business. So.
Right. So then, like, to give you an idea of how fair I am, Shannon's contract is 70-30. Right? Yeah. Everything you do, they get 30%. Yours is 65-35, right, Brit?
Well, we don't get that, but it's roughly. I'm told that's what with tanker it's a little bit different. We have
so it's different. It's a little different, but it's a certain amount across the board.
Right.
So I did 75-25 because reefer trailers are expensive. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's still, he gets 75% of the load.
Right.
But I also capped it on my end. It's 75-25 until he hits $25,000.
Okay.
And then he gets 100. Well, he gets 98% because I'm not going to cover the 2% factoring fee so that he can get paid right away. But I give him. I don't take any more. I limit my income, and I will do that with every contractor I hire.
Yeah.
Because there comes a point where it's all about greed. And I noticed that there's a lot of smaller companies and they hire these people and, you know, they want to retire off of 4 trucks. They want 4 guys, contractors to work for them and that be enough so they don't have to drive anymore. I'll drive until I got 100 trucks. I don't care. I love being a truck driver. I love the road. I have a very competent wife who can run back office for me and wants to run back office when we get to that point.
That's great.
And I don't have to be greedy with drivers and contractors at all. I can make a certain amount of money and say, hey, I've made enough. And now this gives you incentive to make more, if that makes sense. So
no, because everybody's got a stake in it and everybody has got some skin in the game and everybody can work as a team. I think that's the big difference, right?
Sure.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather be working with a team. Like, that's why, like, you know, eventually I would like to pay out my truck and then go work with Jeff because, you know, that's
smart move. Look, you're gonna learn so much. I left Schneider and I went to work for Scott at SRO Logistics, only because he offered me a better deal than Jeff. By the way, I would have went to work for Jeff. I would have had no problem with that. And Jeff made it clear that he would happily have wanted it to have. At any rate, I went to work with Scott at SRO Logistics because he offered me a better deal, but I didn't stay with him very long. And I told him when I came, I'm not staying here long. My intention is to get my authority.
Right.
And he said, hey, look, I've never hired a contractor. You be my guinea pig. I'll give you this deal for being my guinea pig. And I will teach you everything that I know to this point about having your own authority. And it was win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I like
so
that
you'll
about him. He will help you build it, whatever direction you want to go. Like he's a great support.
Yeah.
You know,
For
so
definite.
that's like, so it, you know, to me, I mean, Jeff lives by me, so that's also a convenience, right? But he's also my teacher, right? So and Snorlord is my teacher, and it's like I have just the more I've gotten to know guys, like why wouldn't I want to help bring what I can bring to the table to help build that company?
Yep.
And help fortify it because I know I'm a good, like I can bring benefit to it, but also to be mentored by those people and then wherever my business grows, like whichever direction I have, like I have the best, in my opinion, the best people to work with and to be a part of that family. Like that's where my head's at.
And Jeff is that way. And I've never worked for him, but I've got his phone number and I've had a few conversations with him where I've had questions and I needed answers. And I reached out to him and he was more than willing to give me the information. Just, here's what you need to do. Here's what you can expect. Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Like
and,
there's no,
good luck. Let me know if you need any more help. So.
Yeah. Everything is on the up and up, you know, with him all the time. And that's what I noticed right off the bat, that's his character. And that's exactly who I want to be around. You know, that's exactly.
It's that Snorlord you got to watch out for. That guy.
Yeah,
he's a dodgy character, that one.
Right?
Hey guys, I got Edgewood trying to come in here. I'm gonna let her in. I think she's in her truck and it's kind of loud, so I didn't want to interrupt her while you was talking.
She looked like she was in a grocery store with a grocery cart.
Oh, is she? What is she doing? Let's see what she's doing. Dodalina, am I saying that right?
Oh no, she's in her truck.
Yeah, can you? We can't hear you. Let me see if it's something I did. Let's try this out. Nope. Okay.
She may have her YouTube on. She needs to turn her YouTube off and come in through your StreamYard.
Do you have YouTube on? Okay.
Turn it off and hit the YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta stay through StreamYard and shut off the YouTube. I mean, close it. Keep the StreamYard open, but close the YouTube.
Brit, did I hear you say you've got over 1 million miles on that truck?
1,065,000.
Nice.
I've replaced.
Those will
the one
go about
box.
1.2, typically 1.2 before they need a rebuild. They say change out your rear end grease every 200,000 miles. Service your transmission every 250,000.
I do a lot of myself. I do a lot of it myself. Oil changes and all that sort of gobbledygook.
Sure.
But I want to get the rear ends rebuilt.
Are they causing you problems?
Not at the moment, but I would rather sort it before I end up on a hook. I've never been on a hook yet, so I don't intend to.
I hear you. Have you ever changed the oil in there in your rear ends?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Uh,
Yep, just a second.
I had to turn off my Bluetooth. My
Just a
Bluetooth.
second.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a Bluetooth. I had to pull it out. Yeah.
Here's what you guys are saying.
I'm sorry, my mic isn't working. So
That's okay. We got you now. You're clear now.
No,
Okay.
we can all hear you.
didn't mean to barge in like that, but anyway, I'm Dodi Lena, and yeah, my YouTube channel is Edgewood66. So that's
you're
me.
the flatbedder. You're the
Yes.
flatbedder.
Yep. It's a kind of.
That's a rough game.
No, not really. Not really.
I did it and I fell off the flatbed and I got hurt and I was out.
I remember.
Fat people got no business on flatbeds, I think's the rule, and I tried to violate that rule.
Yeah, I remember I fell off one time and I dislocated my pelvis.
Ooh,
I remember I did that. And
yeah.
My God.
when you fall off, you got to get back on and ride that horse.
Yeah,
again.
and I did for a little bit, but then I was like, nah, this isn't for me. I don't like it.
You guys are really seeing the bad part of my background.
I thought you were in a grocery store the first time. I was like, is she in a grocery store pushing a cart? No, you're in your truck.
Yeah.
My truck is a mess inside. I've been fighting a fly and trying to chase that and banging everything.
Fighting a fly.
Yeah. So I'll just give you.
I wanted to bring her in to introduce her to everybody. She runs a flatbed and she's got a long nose hood truck, and she's a lady. So I just thought that was super cool. And Dolina, would you mind? I want you to say your channel, and I want you to tell them what you drive and how long you've been doing this, please.
Let me see. I've been driving 30 years already.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, I started when actually the first like 3 or 4 years were unrecorded because the boss I used to have, he didn't let me get my CDL, but I was driving a big truck. They used to treat me like crap over there. You know, all that's already gone. And once I got my CDL, I was treated with a lot more respect by the company I worked for. And that was a flatbed truck. And I ended up going from a pickup truck, a lumber truck, to a bigger truck, to a bigger truck, to a new truck, to a raise. And that's how I climbed. That's why I never really went to trucking school. So I learned the old-fashioned way. And then once I got but that was like I never tarped, right? And one driver that I used to work with, he's a really nice guy. He told me about tarping, and I told him, I can't do that. So I got into driving an armored semi. So when I was married, 2 people have to do that, delivering money all over the United States, and very expensive, extremely expensive cargo, because I wore a gun, a badge, I was dressed like an armored, like a guard. And then I went to a reefer. I did that for a long time. And then I went to dry box. But I didn't like after all these years already of driving, I didn't like being told, in the middle of the night, why are you stopping, and you got to keep going and stuff. I felt I was been working way too hard, and too long to be treated like that. And so I thought I'm just going to go back into like a day job. And flatbed was the day job. So that's why I got back into flatbed, because most of the place I've had like maybe 3-4 stops that were in like 1 o'clock at night, but that was because of COVID, and everything went crazy then. But other than that, all my runs, they're my pickups and my deliveries are daytime, and I don't want to run nights anymore because it was hurting my eyes too much and I was getting headaches. So that's one of the reasons why I got on flatbed. And the Conestoga that I drive, it rolls backwards and I can open the tarp. And if I can't do it, I have, the loaders or the shippers.
Mhm.
They're gonna, they'll always come and help me out. And I'm only 5 feet. You were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
That you're like 5'6" or what is it? 6.
I'm 5'8". I'm 5'8", so I'm kind of tall even. And she says I'm 5 foot because I was like,
what was
man,
that?
I'm thinking
What
middle
was
age.
that? 8'6"? What? I'm just.
Yeah, but I was surprised when you said you're only 5 feet tall. That just goes to show everybody.
Yeah, that's me. That's just a little pint size. I always put it this way: everything's big on my. If the lug nuts are big, everything's big, except the driver and the dog. That's me.
Yeah.
My little dog is a little Shih Tzu. But anyway, yeah, I was listening to you guys. I love your accent, Bernal. Right,
You're
left.
ready for it?
Yeah, I love your accent. I was just listening to you talk, and I couldn't really. I had stopped and took a break. That's when I was typing some stuff, and then I had to get going. And I was looking for a place to park, and I to shut down for the night.
Right.
And I spent too much time at the truck stop, doing nothing. Back there in what was it? Kenley, North Carolina.
Oh, you're over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Will you tell us what kind of truck you drive?
It's a 2007 Peterbilt. It's the long nose, and it has a cat motor, like 650 horsepower.
Pre-emissions.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about the engines. Like,
It drinks fuel.
Do you have do you have to put DEF fluid in it?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, pre-emissions.
Yeah, and you guys are talking about buying an older truck and a newer truck and stuff. That's why, excuse me, that's why I bought an old truck, because I had driven some of the new trucks when they first came out, and they didn't even have, well, I didn't have the experience of a GPS. I didn't even know what a GPS was. And all of a sudden, I got this little computer telling me to turn right at every turn I was making. And I finally had to figure it out, because I was used to using the old paper maps, and doing it the old-fashioned way. So I kind of had to learn from like an old schooler to a new schooler.
They don't even teach paper maps in school, trucking
know.
school anymore. I learned on them. That's how I learned. They don't teach that anymore.
I didn't get taught that way. Like, I was in CDL school 3 years ago, and I learned on a stick, so I can drive a 10-speed stick, but that's about it. And
but did they teach you how to read a map? An atlas?
I mean, I know how to read a map from just because my age, right? I learned it in school.
But were they teaching it in school?
Not at CDL school. They showed us what an atlas was, and they made sure that we got one and told us we should have one, but that's about as far as it went. So even when I got to training, like at the first company that I worked with, they just wanted us to make sure to have one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they did at Schneider. I don't know if they still do that with Schneider, but when I was there, when I went through their company driving position, they actually, we had to sit there going through the Atlas and stuff like that, and work out permits and gobbledygook like that, But I don't know what they do now, Schneider, because everything's online, isn't it? You can get GPS on your phone, GPS on his computer, GPS that I've got here, and that sort of stuff,
Everything, yeah.
When I went to trucking school, every night we had an assignment, and they would give us basically a load. You're
Right.
picking it up here, and you're delivering it here, and you had to use your Atlas to figure out the route, your stops, your fuel stops, the routes you were allowed to be on, not allowed to be on. And it was it was a pass-fail type situation, and you were only allowed a couple, 3 fails, and you were done with school. You're like, no, you're not smart enough to work in Atlas. You're definitely not smart enough to run a truck.
I think
they don't even teach those skills anymore, and that's why you got people driving on bridges they shouldn't be on.
Yeah, I know.
Because Google told them it was okay.
Yeah.
You can't use Google going through Chicago. Just saying.
Nope. I go there every day, every other day.
I agree with you. I think that should still be taught in the school, and it be more, because number one, it is going to test a person's IQ or challenge them, which I think there should be an IQ test for truckers anyways for the license. But but the main thing is like, and I'll tell you this. I'm gonna be transparent. I was having a conversation with Snorler the other day, and he was talking about way stations on the route, and he said, "Oh man!" And on the map there was so many. I think he said red circles or blue circles, right? Whichever one indicates the way stations. And I think he said red circles, and he said there was so many on that route that wasn't funny, and I was like, "What is red circles?" And he said,
they're red.
So
I'm tempted to reach up here and grab my Atlas and open it up and show you what he was talking about, but I don't think it'd work so well on YouTube with this camera.
Right. Chicken Hawk says if you IQ tested truck drivers, there would be no truck drivers.
Well,
that would be
let me tell you a little quick story. One of the first times I went out on my own, I didn't know what a mile marker was. And I'm going through Wyoming from Denver to Salt Lake. And I'm going through Wyoming. I'm going by myself. And I had a blowout. And I remember I was talking to my ex right on the phone. These are little flip-flop phones. This was a long time ago. And I went over a hill and I lost contact. So, like, we were arguing, so I just hung up the phone, like, good. Like, they want to talk to you anyway. But then I had a blowout. And so I tried calling my boss, and there was no phone service.
Oh, no.
This is the middle of Wyoming. Luckily, it was, like, in the summertime, so it wasn't really freezing out there. And I had to go walking, like, back up the hill, like, about half a mile on the side of the interstate, till I got phone service. And I called my boss and I told him I got a blowout, and he told me, he says, all right, I'll send some help. Where are you at? I told him I'm on I-80. He told me, okay, well, what's your mile marker? I told him, what's a mile marker?
Oh, no.
And he says, you don't know what a mile marker? I said, And so he told me it's a little number on a stick. Go find it. So here I am walking alongside the freeway looking for a number on a stick. I'm like, oh no. And then finally I found one, but I had to go back up the hill, even further back up the hill, so I can get phone service to give him a call and tell him I'm at mile marker. I don't know what it was.
Right.
That's awesome.
I did things just, I wasn't always up there when I learned the hard way. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
What's sad is, but before cell phones,
Yeah.
And when that happened to you, 9 or 10 drivers would have hollered on the CB and asked if you were okay, and if not, would have pulled over and drove you to the next town to the phone so you could call in and talk to your boss. But now, because we have cell phones and all this criminal activity, they just drive right by you. They don't even holler on the CB anymore to ask if you're okay. Can they, do you need help? None of that. And that used to go on. That was regular. If you were on the side of the road with your flashers on, if your CB was on, I bet you 10, 12 drivers would ask if you're okay. And if you said no, they would pull over and come help you. Not no more. They don't
pull over and help you out.
I've had that a couple of times because my CB normally stays on. Apart from, I've turned it off because I'm on this chat because you do get some creepy people on there. but I've been like in Illinois and stuff like that, and my CB will be on, and somebody will say, "Schneider, you okay on that side?" And it just makes you feel good that somebody gives a toss of what's going on in your life,
so
rather than just being ignorant, and just driving past you because.
And those are old school truckers for the most part that are asking you that. The younger crew that comes out, they don't. Most of them don't even have a CB. A CB, what do I need that for? I got a cell phone.
I didn't. I wasn't issued a CB at none of my companies. I had to go take it upon myself to have one if I wanted one, and I was told never to stop. Like you can't for safety reasons. I should not stop to help anybody in a car, to help anybody because of technology. Everybody has the ability to call for help, right? That's the mentality.
I've stopped and put fires out in people's cars before.
Yeah,
they were on the side of the road.
I've stopped before and helped people out, and people have helped me out too because of a CB. Well, it's like this, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not afraid to be out here. The whole United States is my yard. That's the way I look at it. And my semi is my home. But like when I go out, wherever I go, if I usually like to park at truck stops or someplace where there's other trucks, not just park there for who knows how long, but I mean trucks where people are sleeping in them, because 99% of the time those truck drivers are working as hard as I am, and they're in the same boat that I'm in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like co-workers, kind of. We don't know each other, but that's why
we're all in this together at the end of the day. At least.
Yeah, that's why I'm not afraid to be out here alone. Plus, I have faith. My faith is very strong, but in Jesus Christ. But see, one of the things when I go out, I'm not going to stop and pick up hitchhikers. And if I see another trucker down, I'm going to help him because, if I can, or if he needs help or she needs help, because I'm an old schooler. I learned, like I said, I learned the hard way. I don't know how they do it now, because I've heard that some companies don't even let you have a CB.
That's what I was saying, because I was talking about, I worked for a mega carrier before I was able to, finally branch off and do this. And they don't teach they're not teaching you that. Like, it was just 3 years ago that I was at JB Hunt, or 2.5 years ago, I entered JB Hunt. But all the companies, I've worked for 1, 2, 3 companies, and all of them expected if you wanted a radio, you get one. And that's the mentality that's set, right? So I'm just saying that's what's going on out there, because all these young drivers are coming up through the mega carriers and all of that. And I can't speak for like Swift and all those other guys, and Schneider even. I don't, Brit can, but that wasn't, it was there. There's a presence of it. Yeah, you might want to have one, but I have been in several yards where I noticed that hardly no JB Hunt trucks, other drivers had radios. And when I'm in the traffic jams, I'm talking to the guys that are yelling about this driver over here, but he don't have no radio, so nobody can communicate with the guy. And he's going up the wrong lane, and and all that's going on. So it's not common. It's not taught that you gotta have this or you should have this, and I think that should be. I don't want to be without one.
I believe it's the old-fashioned way of communication, and that's like you said earlier, when you're out there and someone's going to come and help you, you really feel good about it. Because myself, I feel like I'm not alone out there,
Yeah.
because when you're out there, like in the North Dakotas and Wyoming, out there in the middle of nowhere, this loneliness starts to creep in, and you're thinking, what if my truck breaks down or something?
Right.
Well, that's when I'm depending on my CB, because my phone don't always have the right reception.
Ain't that right? Like we know we can depend on that CB at least I feel like more than I can on my cell phone.
Half our problem as well is once we go into areas like that, our biggest nightmare is when that engine light comes on. That's the one that throws everybody, because you're thinking, and then you try to ignore it. And I sometimes, if mine plays up, I put my hand across it because I don't want to see that. I want to just get where I'm going to, because I was in my I took a load the other day, and it sounds like really stupid. I took a load the other day from Chicago to Idaho, purely because it paid it was like $6,300, which is a lot on contract freight. And I just wanted to see that before the winter sets in, because once the winter comes here, I get girly and I go south. I can't be doing all that cold weather up here. I just can't be doing it. Did it last year, brakes froze up, done it, passport got checked. I'm not doing it again this year. So I'm trying to get all these areas covered so I can see. And that is the most beautiful place I've ever been to, was Wyoming, Idaho, all that fresh air. There's no concrete jungles. And it was just great. And then I come back through Colorado, back down to Houston in Texas. It was great, But don't make business decisions based on stupidness like that. But that one was, but purely because I was getting 6,300 to go out there.
That's funny.
I'm a Southwestern girl. I was born in New Mexico, and then I lived in Colorado.
Right.
Most of my life. I got married and divorced twice. So I got out of there, and I went to California, single, lived by the beach. I loved it until I couldn't afford it anymore, because everything went up sky high.
Right.
So by buying this old truck, I can't even go back into California. But that's okay. I got the whole United States to
work. You can go in there. You can buy like a 48-hour pass.
Yeah.
They'll let you in.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you want to. I'm just saying you can if you chose to. You can get a 48-hour pass. But you can get just as good at paying freight coming out of Phoenix versus going all the way to LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. I used to, while I was truck driving, while I was living in California.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I'm just reading what Freight's saying. Freight, I'm going to ring you up about 2:00 in the morning just to wake you up, just to tee your day off. He's just taking a mic. That's all. I'm watching it.
But
he's trying to start some stuff going here.
Yeah.
Well, guys, hey, we've been on for 2 hours. Thank you so much. I really want to try to get people to check out Edgewood 66 channel. She's got just a couple subscribers, and I just love what she's doing as a female, and she's just super cool, and she's an old school trucker, and she's 5 foot tall and making it rock. So I'm just gonna ask everybody to give her a check out and subscribe to her channel. And I just want to bring her on here to bring her, just to show people that she's out there and try to help boost her channel up a little bit. Big Rig CEO's got a channel. Nomadic Brick's got a channel. Go check.
I will say about the three other people in this chat. Everybody needs to follow these people, because whether it be James, whether it's young Shannon, and the young lady in the bottom left, these are people that have gone into that next level. And if that they could take you through the pros and cons of how to get into that. And I was even watching. I didn't even realize until young James said there about KLLM. I've actually seen you doing those videos, and that's where I recognized you from because you did some videos under that. I'm just saying, people need to follow everybody. Yeah, don't follow the British, because just whatever. But the other people, you need to follow them, because that could take you in the right direction, and they will give you, in theory, the answers and questions that you're looking for. Long-winded, but that's my take on it.
I'm just trying to say what's happening to me.
Thanks for having me on, and it was really nice to meet everybody, including Simon Cowell. And
whatever. Yeah.
Hey, listen, if there's ever, look, and I've been this way since I've been doing YouTube. If there's anybody who ever has a question, you can always reach out in my email.
All I say is, because it's all about putting out, the full transparency, whether it be James, Shannon, Nevada, freight trucking, everybody else. As long as we toe that line of putting out real content, because people make decisions based on what we say. So you better have a clear conscience and put out the truth. End off. I'm just saying.
And that's what I've always done, I think. And I've gotten so many comments on my videos because I just shoot it straight.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what it is. You take it or you leave it, but this is what it is.
That's what I like about you guys, is that I've been able to learn so much from you, because I had to filter through a lot of people out there saying all kinds of stuff and filter out the BS, and I finally found you guys. I found the guys to listen to, because you just tell it like it is, and I'm the same way. Like, I'm not prideful or anything. Like, I ain't got nothing to lose. Like, I'll just tell what's happening, and you guys have all been so supportive and gracious enough to giving me advice or tell me your opinion or offer me somebody's a contact or whatever to help me out. So I thank you so much. Like, that's just such a great benefit that I've gotten from just getting connected with the right people. So I can't appreciate you guys enough. Like, I just really want you to know, like, that's where I'm coming from, and I'm gonna come out here and say what happens to me, whether it's fun or it's terrible or it's whatever. Like, I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it for just to mark my journey. And I know that you guys, if there's somebody that can help me, that they will reach out. And then I really want to encourage women coming in too, and say, look, yeah, this is hard, but I'm still fighting through it. Like, and if you got that spirit, and if you got that work ethic and that ambition, like, you can, this is what it really looks like. I'm not putting all these big dollars in the glass. I'm not pretending like nothing's wrong. I'm not like acting like everything's all fluffy and I get my nails done every day. Like, I'm trying to be so real, because there's so much crap out there and so much production. And I just want, guys are like, ask me about the companies that I've been with or whatever. Like, I just want to be an encouragement and show that even through the hard times, like, this is, hopefully I can show you something that it takes and you go through it with me. But I appreciate you guys' support so much, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for the mentors that I have acquired, and the friends like you all that I have acquired through this whole thing. So thanks. And now we found Edward 66 Dodolina, who's a beautiful old school lady trucker, flatbedder, driving the hood truck. She's got a cute, sweet channel that's not stressful. Please go check her out. I am so happy to know you, and thank you so much for coming on my channel. And I look forward to talking to you again, and all of you. Like, and Brit has got to.
Yeah, and I got my hat.
He's got to
So
do it. I got a Michigan hat. Like, look at this. This one says Michigan. I just got this the other day. I'm kind of happy.
and I got a big Union Jack on the side of the truck. I actually passed Nevada. When I was going to Idaho the other day, and I text Nevada. I said, "Oi, are you in Nebraska?" Because I went zooming past him. He was going the other way, and yes, it was. So me and Nevada, we've been like this close. But anyway, I need to jump out. So thanks for everybody coming in here, and I will add to this: Rule Britannia. Everybody needs to be British.
No.
All right. I love you guys. Good night. Thanks for trying out StreamYard.
Good night.
Catch you all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later.